Hey all, J-Man here. I just wanted to tell you about beardedshirts.com. It's a great place to get a lot of cool superhero shirts and other merchandise. You can scroll, they've always got sales on. As you can see, they've got these really cool print all over shirts, which I really love. That's Eddie, the founder of the site. And if you're looking for stuff, all you got to do is you click on the search here and you can type in all over. And that's going to show you the all over prints, which are really, really cool. Look at that. You got Legion of Superheroes, you got Brave and the Bold, you got JSA, you got Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, all kinds of stuff. So check out beardedshirts.com. Hey guys, J-Man here. Welcome to a special live stream on Sunday. I normally don't do Sundays, but why not? Let's do it. There's a lot going on this week, so I want to just get everybody caught up on what's happening. Tomorrow, of course, is the Legion live stream. So 3 more issues of the Legion of Superheroes. That middle one is Jim Starlin, and it is the damn best Legion story for me so far. I absolutely loved it. We're going to talk about it in detail on Monday, so that's tomorrow, basically same time as right now. This Wednesday, I'm taking a break Tuesday, but Wednesday, we're going to be on the Action Elite Live, and we're going to talk about the Ray Liotta movie, No Escape. This is actually a very good movie. I'm not sure if I would call it underrated. I think people generally like it, but they don't really talk about it very often. I think it's going to be a lot of fun talking about this. So that's going to be on the Action Elite Live. So you got to make sure you're subscribed to their YouTube channel. The link to the channel is in the description of this video, plus all my other videos and live streams. So make sure you are subscribed and you've hit the notification bell for the Action Elite No Escape. It's awesome. We're going to talk about it on Wednesday. Thursday, holy crap, I just finished Transformers Headmasters. This is the Japanese season 4. Sean and I are going to talk about the final 14 episodes of this epic. Ultra Magnus is dead. Mars is destroyed. Cybertron is destroyed. Galvatron is dead. it's they basically clearing out everybody. Everybody's gone. Cup, Hot Rod. Who else? Springer's gone. I think the only character left that you know is RC. She's still around, and of course Spike and Daniel are around, and Carly is around too. But this is epic. 6-shot. You're looking at 6-shot versus Chrome Dome on here, and it is a mega battle at the end with Fortress Maximus and Scorponok, and oh my god, it's so good. That's on Thursday, Transformer Thursdays. Do not miss that. Do not miss Friday, because it's Fantastic Fridays. We are approaching the last few Fantastic Fridays before we move on to Avengers. So we're covering 4 issues of the Fantastic Four. I have not read these yet. I'm going to read these this week. Looking forward to it. We're going to have the Inhumans, of course, in that first one. You can see Karnak and everyone's all beat up. They're going to be fighting Maximus, I suppose, so that'll be a lot of fun. And we will get to, of course, Avengers once we're done Fantastic Four. So, all right, let's give a shout out to our Legionnaires. These are the channel members. So we want to shout out Dan, of course, who's here all the time and comments on all my videos. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Sean, Steven, and Brennan. You've seen Brennan in the chat many times. You've seen Sean and Steven on the streams many times. Mark D with a C. You guys should know who Mark D is. RR and is going to be joining me when we talk about Dark Side versus Galactus. Holy crap, I'm halfway through that, and that's the damn best. So we're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after next. And Philip Story, thank you, Philip, for commenting on all my Star Trek videos. I appreciate it. I just finished Star Trek Enterprise Season 4, so I'll be posting those videos soon, but you're about like 28 days away from seeing those. And then I'm doing Blake 7, my third go-around of Blake 7. I'm going to start doing some Blake 7 reviews shortly. You won't see them for about a month because that's how far out I am. And S182, that's Scotty. Scotty, thanks so much, buddy, for coming on the Dazzler streams with me. I appreciate that. We're going to be talking about Dazzler, the graphic novel, pretty soon. And Digger Jim, who, of course, is our newest member. Digger, I sent out your shirt, so you should have it soon, hopefully in a week or two. And, of course, we shout out Mike Alonzo, Clobberin Times, our legendary Legionnaire for life, who passed away not too long ago. We miss you, buddy. Without you, we wouldn't be talking about the Legion of Superheroes or Fantastic Four, really. So thanks so much, man. We miss you. And Blake 7. Without you, man, I would not have discovered Blake 7. So thank you so much. We miss you, man. All right. I got a couple of, so Sean's not coming tonight. So you guys are, I know, let's get the applause icon in the chat here for no Sean tonight. But I did bring back someone who hasn't been on in a while, actually. And he's a big fan of Judge Dredd. He has I guess, is it a half sleeve tattoo of Dredd, and on the other side, RoboCop. So he appreciates the law, which that's interesting. Futuristic cops is who he likes. And that's, of course, our buddy Charlie from Give Me Back My Action and Horror Movies.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Hey.
It's a hell of an intro. All right, yeah. Half sleeve of Dredd.
Half sleeve, yeah.
We'll call it.
I've got this is it goes below for Cyclops, so it's weird. It's a slightly more than half.
My sleeves kind of cover it, but you can still tell there's
you can still tell.
So yeah,
awesome. All right, and we do have a special guest today. So we're gonna bring him in, and then we're gonna just talk a little bit about 2000 AD Dredd. We're gonna talk about Yor, of course, because Charlie loves Yor. And I love Yor, and Sean loves Yor. He's upset that he can't make it tonight because he's a big. Listen, you see Sean's face every week. You see it like 3 times a week on this channel, so you don't need to see it any more than that. But we love Yor, so we're gonna talk a little bit about Yor, just a smidge about it, just to remember what it's about. And then we're gonna cover Yor later on because these comics are being released again, so we'll get to that. Okay, so our special guest Stephen Ross is waiting backstage. I'm gonna bring him in using an intro that I think. He is gonna he's gonna appreciate this. If he doesn't appreciate this intro, I guess he's gonna be leaving the stream very, very quickly. But I've been talking to him a little bit. I'm pretty sure he'll appreciate this one. So let's see.
Nice. That intro is what's best in life.
Yes, it is. All right. Let's just say hello to the people who have been waiting in the chat. So Joe Dog was here first. Hey man, how's it going, dude? Thanks for coming on. What have you been reading? You're reading some Batman and Batman and the Outsiders. Yes, Batman and the Outsiders. I was just I've got a digital trade of that when they did that on sale. Quagnar is here. Quagnar is a big time Yor fan and supporter. I know Quagnar. Quagnar was the first person to find these comics, but with the original language. What was the original language again? I just had it. And I just
Argentinian Spanish.
Yes. So Quagnar actually found these originally. So I had them and I couldn't read them. I could just look at them. So that was cool.
Right.
And Skeptic. Something different. We're just it's a cash stream, so I've got my fortress.
It's going to be very different.
All right, so we'll just talk to Charlie for just. So Charlie, you haven't been on in a while. Charlie does a podcast. The link it's in all of the regular place you get iTunes. Like I have it through iTunes, but I did put a link. I have a link to your page. On every live stream I do and also every video I make, so you guys can reach it there. Just tell everybody quickly what the podcast is about.
Podcast is Give Me Back My Action and Horror Movies. It's just about going back and watching all the movies we grew up with and how Hollywood can't do anything good anymore. Rarely, once in a while, you get a good one. But no, we just kind of dig into like the VHS era, early 2000s. And then we've started a secondary kind of sister show on the same podcast. You don't have to click nothing else, but we're also doing B Action, putting B back in action. So it's all of the next shelves down.
All the Jeff Speakman movies.
Jimmy just did Perfect Weapon not long ago.
That's weird. That's a weird coincidence.
Yeah. So we are doing all that. So a lot's happening. We just got liked by Chavez Poncho on Instagram just like 15 minutes ago.
Nice.
So he just did an interview with a couple buddies of mine. So yeah, lots happening over there. Instagram, Facebook. Give Me Back My Action and Horror Movies.
I got to ask you, J-Man, because you've been talking about other things. I've been watching some of your other non-2000 AD videos.
Yeah. And
you evoked the name of Cynthia Rothrock. What was your first Rothrock movie, and how did you come across it?
Oh, geez, I don't even know. I just would go. So across the street from my house, 5 movies, $5, 5 days.
Oh yes.
Um, and it was a mom and pop store. Didn't care what I rented.
Mm-hmm.
Like Shogun Assassin. Like I was renting Demons, Mario Bava / Dario Argento Demons,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So rented anything. And we rented all those Godfrey Ho, those terrible, mixes, and grabbed this one. It's like, kept seeing this lady on there, Cynthia Rothrock. She just I just commented on her trailer for Black Creek. She hearted my comment, so that's very nice of her.
Oh, that's right. That dropped today, didn't it?
Looks very good.
Hell yeah, I backed that one.
Yeah, so I couldn't back that one, and I think Charlie, did you back Deathstalker? We both backed Deathstalker.
Yeah, we both backed that one immediately almost.
Immediately. And I'm doing the VIP tickets. Me and Sean, because it's in Toronto. I was like, they're like, we're doing the premiere, and I was like, I'll never be able to go to that. And then I said, and I just have to ask where the premiere's in Toronto. I was like, it's in Toronto. I'm like, I'm going. And Sean and I are going to the friggin' premiere of Deathstalker. But so Cynthia, what was the first one? Hey, voom. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Yes, Rothrock is cute, and yeah.
Wait a minute, is that Paul?
Paul, is that you?
That'd be quite a coincidence.
Well, yeah. So I don't even know which is the first one, but I had a bunch on VHS. So we did all of the. We used to get all the Billy Blanks. So Billy Blanks, Jalal Merahi, Richard Norton, Cynthia.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I missing? I feel like I'm missing somebody. Oh, Don the Dragon
stuff.
All those guys.
Yeah.
We'd just rent anything. So Cynthia just kept coming up. There you go. Yes.
Oh, Paul. Brother.
So tell us. Well, first tell us what you've got a podcast, and then you want to. Let me make sure I've got the right address for all these things, so I could post it in the chat or whatever. Where 2000 AD podcast. This is the link that I've got for your website. Now the website, because I actually can't link a podcast. I can't link like an iTunes thing. So it's WordPress. It's 2000ad.wordpress.com. Is that correct? This is the link for your.
Yeah, the podcast is called Everything Comes Back to 2000 AD, because in its heyday, I mean, this is the comic that had like Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman and Pat Mills, and rock stars liked it, and those are just the writers, and then the artists were like routinely on like the Wizard top 10 list back in the day. So like you could literally do like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon with 2000 AD. Everything would just come back to it. So one of the hosts, his wife was like, teasing him like, oh man, in your brain, everything comes back to 2000 AD. And so there you go. So I'm one of 3 hosts. The main guy, he's an Irish gentleman named Stephen Reed, who created it. And there was a fellow named Rich, who was the co-host for a while. And then but he's not really associated with it anymore. And then there's a third fellow who does it routinely with us named John Burtis. And he's the number one Judge Dredd collector in England. He's got the whole Judge cosplay uniform, and he has a place called the Cellar of Dread. It's the cellar of his house. It's like a museum of Judge Dredd memorabilia. Like nothing's too obscure for him to have. So it's the 3 of us. The joke is, the way the podcast works now is like, the joke is an Englishman, an Irishman, and a Mexican American walk into a bar and talk about eventually we get to 2000 AD, because in our opinions, generally it's not what it used to be, but we do celebrity deaths first, and then we do a Kickstarter for when we're backing. Then we talk about movies. Then John Burtis usually does his old man yells at clouds bit, where he complains about something, and somebody does something interesting. We'll talk about that. So it can take like 2+ hours for us to get around to the prog review. So I love listening to you, because it's like concise. It's just 2000 AD. It's less than 10 minutes. And and you're so wide-eyed about everything. It's like, oh, I love Hearn and Chuck, and we're like, oh, bro.
This is so cool. So I'll tell you, I the last time I had a digital subscription was 2003, and it was to the Meg. And then I had stopped. So I had all of 2003. I had everything, and then I stopped. And around, I don't know when, but around a certain time, the digital comics just tanked for me. Like Comixology went. I have like, I don't know, like 50 short boxes or something insane of comics, right?
Yeah.
So it's mostly like Superman and Batman and Spider-Man or whatever.
Yeah.
I always loved Judge Dredd. And I didn't. When I found out about Judge Dredd is the Stallone movie. Then Charlie, I want you to tell me when you found out, because you guys went like, we'll do it in to like least known about Judge Dredd to the. I saw the movie. I was like, wow, this is so awesome. Like, I love the Stallone movie. I was like, this is the greatest movie ever. And then I started reading the comics and wherever I could find them, because you got to understand, it's not easy. Even now, my shop, I go every Wednesday. They do not get the Progs or the Megs. I've been buying them from Rebellion. And that's how I've been reading. And then for the Megs, I've gotten the actual physical books coming in. I bought like just buying random ones here and there when they go on sale. Like this was $1. So I was like, okay, I'll grab them. They're like $1 or whatever. Anyways, but back then, 1990, whatever, Tank Girl came out, Dredd came out. All these movies were coming out of these other superheroes. I love the pulp guys like Shadow and Phantom, so I loved all those heroes, but I knew about them. But Dredd and Tank Girl and these guys, I love the Spider. I have an original. I have one original Spider from the time.
They ain't cheap.
They're not cheap. This one is beaten to hell. But Steger Books is republishing them all. I've just been buying them slowly. I think I've read the first 3 or 4 now. Really got to get to about number 4 before it becomes the Spider the way you would know the Spider.
Because the first 2 weren't written by the same guy that wrote the crazy ass stuff that came later. So, anyway, I was looking for other heroes. So there's all these heroes coming out. I love comic books, love superheroes. I was like, oh, this Dredd guy looks great. Tank Girl looks great. And then the more you learn about the Dredd character in the comics and stuff, and then those case files started to come out. Those, we call them phone book. They're like phone books. Yeah. And you're like, hey, the movie looks very good, but it's not really Dredd. He takes off the helmet, but the robots, it's driving me crazy, because that movie, it's like there's so many parts where you could pause the screen and be like, holy shit, this looks like the common thing among old school Dredd fans is that there's about 20 minutes in the 90-minute movie that are so like the comic book. Then and you have to accept that to get the budget that they needed to realize Mega City 1 the way as closely as they did. I mean, there's even the freaking Statue of Justice in there with the chopper graffiti on it. I mean, there's like nerd level attention to detail for a 1995 movie. This is like pre-MCU, before the nerds took over and really got into like obscure things you never thought you'd see. So Mega City 1 for the most part is amazing. Mean Machine is amazing. The thing that's called the ABC robot is actually not a character from the Judge Dredd series. It's from a series called the ABC Warriors, which is tied into Nemesis the Warlock. Yeah. So even to have him in there, it's like, damn, it's like you wish all of those things had been seen and used more in that movie. But and we can get into the movie a little more later, because I've seen a early cut of it where Rob Schneider's character dies.
Oh, interesting.
Well, so anyway, so I mean, I have a lot of affection for that movie. Plus, I got to see that early screening of it at the Cinerama Dome. That's awesome. So when they show you like Mega City 1 at the beginning, you're like, oh, cool. And then you go, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like even more impressive. My friend next to me goes like, oh man, I hope there's a drain in that floor next to you.
Well, it was epic. And the thing is, so I walked out of that movie saying, this is so friggin' awesome. I love that it was the first CD I ever bought, the soundtrack. And I was so excited. And then I was like, oh no, it's not really the comics. I was like, damn. And that was sort of the first, I'm like, I discovered it backwards. Usually I'm the guy that's sitting in the theater and then saying, man, this is bullshit. This didn't happen.
Right.
And this, right. But me, I was the reverse guy. But none of my friends knew Dredd either. We just heard of Judge Dredd and thought, okay, this is it.
So you could have faked it. You could have pretended you were that guy.
Yeah.
And they're really hard. I mean, they were really hard to get hold of. Now you can order them through previews through your Diamond catalog. You can get the weekly progs in the 4-pack and the magazine. So you could catch up with the physical ones or whatever. But, for our purposes, because we have to do a review and keep it up to date, we got to do the digital thing. So
you have to.
Sucks. Yeah.
I'm not doing it for them. I'm trying to not do it for the megs. I'm not anti-digital, to be honest. I'm okay with digital. I'm totally fine with it. I don't care. But the thing is that to keep it current, and because it's a weekly prog, I have to review it immediately. Or otherwise, like 2 weeks later, it's like, we're 2 issues away. Who cares what you're saying now? So, but for the megs, I am just waiting because it's still one a month. So as long as I get it out before the next one, then it's not too bad.
Anyways. I mean, it used to be horrible. Sometimes you'd get not get issues in the 4-pack. Sometimes you'd get 3 of them at once, and they'd be 3 months late and stuff. So it used to be pretty bad. So I lucked out. I had a friend over in the UK who would send me a packet of. I mean, they weren't even listed in the previous catalog in the 80s and early 90s. So I had a friend who would just. He was a pen pal from the UK. He would just send me a big packet of stuff, and it would also include stuff that nobody even knew existed over here, like the poster progs and best of 2000 AD. And then he had a teenage daughter at the time. There was a British pop magazine called Smash Hits, and she would throw in some. He'd be like, "Oh, my daughter's done reading Smash Hits. You can read about the Pet Shop Boys. Enjoy." And I'd be like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah, so I mean, the movie got me into Dredd, and then that's that. And then I was just out of the comics because I couldn't get them, and I wasn't getting them digital or physical. I just wasn't reading them. IDW did a bunch. I read all of the IDW ones or whatever. Those I got all of those. Then the Dredd movie came. Obviously, the Dredd Carl Urban movie came out, and I that's actually one of my favorite movies. I don't know if it's not really exactly the Dredd comics either, but I just like it as a film. It's like a good action film that's solid. I understand what's going on. It delivers on everything it promises. It looks cool. I almost wish it had the budget and effects of the Stallone with the action that it had, right? And you almost kind of got this. It would have been a good mix of those two together. But anyway, and then I started. So everything I own for Judge Dredd, I have one action figure of Dredd, whichever one it was from before. Charlie has it in the back, I think, somewhere, or used that. It's probably right there. That's the one. That's the only thing I have. And whatever is in this, I just started a box up. I've got the case files first, 1, 2, 3, 5 volumes, and then maybe this many progs. That's it. Now I'm just starting again. So that's how I got into Dredd. Charlie, how did you get into Judge Dredd? Because we never really talked about this. We did a Dredd stream, but we never really got into how why do you care?
You and I fanboy too much for the guys on there, so we'll get into the comics, and they want to talk about the movie they watched. I found a Judge Dredd comic in a long box in this random comic shop that wasn't even really a comic shop. The guy just had a bunch of comics in the back. Bought it, looked kind of cool. It was just in my collection for a long time. Then the movie came out, Stallone, and my dad and I saw the preview, the trailer for it, and we're like, okay, this looks really freaking cool, and watched it, fell in love with it. I had no predilections of what Judge Dredd was supposed to be, so I took it at face value that was Judge Dredd. That was the movie. And then I was like, I got that comic somewhere, and I started digging into it a little bit more. And same issue that J-Man you had, nobody carried it down here. It was next to impossible to find. I was actually just trying to look. The comic shop I go to, he found out I was a huge Dredd fan. He goes, "Oh, I got something for you." He still has the packet, and I think it was DC or someone. I don't know who had the rights first, but they were releasing their own version, and it was all of the posters, all of the promotional pieces, the stickers, everything. And he goes,
That
I just
would have
bothered
been the DC Comics one.
yeah. So the DC one, and he's like, I just never opened it, and no one's really had, asked about it. So I have that sealed around here somewhere. And as I've gotten older and I've dug into it, man, I just love it. One of my favorite things is my first Judge Dredd comic is the Judge Dredd comic in Hackers that the kid's reading at the top of his bunk bed real quick. And I saw the cover of it and I'm like, that's one I have. So I had this like connection to Judge Dredd again in the movies. And now as an adult, man, I can't get enough. I have all the action figures that are coming out from Haya. I collect all the other ones. I got my metal.
Oh yeah, those action figures are pretty good.
Yeah.
Where are you located, Charlie?
Southwest Virginia.
All right.
Right in the mountains. We're no like major metropolitan. We had larger cities, but not what, people would consider good areas to get a ton of content, as far as comics and stuff like that. And it's like now I have to order it in if I want to get the progs. I had to stop because just getting them was way too expensive. It was
it's like to get your monthly fix would be about $50 American.
Yeah, it's roughly that. I did do all the IDWs. I have everything from when they started because I was the only one that was doing them, and it was the only thing I could get. So it was like,
I'm sorry for that. On behalf of Judge Dredd fans everywhere, I apologize for it.
But you know what? It was all you could get, though.
I understand. Believe me, I think I'm older than you guys, so I understand the whole concept of all you can get, all that's available at the time.
I had a buddy of mine a couple of years ago. He was selling off his entire comic collection. He's just like, I'm selling it off. He has a massive collection. He sent me his list. Like it was a freaking Excel sheet, pages and pages and pages. I went, I'm not reading all this. Where's all your Judge Dredd? And he goes, oh, yeah, hold on. And he pulls it all up, made me a hell of a deal. So I have a fairly large collection of the comics, the actual first runs, and then a ton of prog that he had. So I had all of the newspapers. It was really cool. So one of the only things my dad doesn't read comics, but I told him that I got this, and he goes, "You got like the newspaper looking ones?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, when you're done with those, I want to read them next." So my dad's sits there.
Oh wow!
ADs.
Let's see that. Put up with that full screen. Yeah.
Oh look, there's some Masters of the Universe stickers in there.
Oh yeah. Hey, we both love He-Man.
Yeah, we're huge He-Man. But yeah, I mean, that's that I had no idea those things even existed when I was growing up. Otherwise, I'd have been
blowing a bubble.
I'll put my He-Man background.
There you go, He-Man. There you go. I
don't have a Dredd background. I need to get a Dredd one.
Yeah. So if it's not just Dredd, it's He-Man. But and I mean, I've gotten like I got artwork behind me. I've had like artists draw, Judge Dredd everywhere. I got that. It's just something about him, man. It's just something that just kind of struck a nerve with me that I was just like, this guy's cool as shit. I love him. And J-Man said I got the RoboCop tattoo. It's also because RoboCop is from Judge Dredd. They took influences of Judge Dredd to create RoboCop. So
the guy who wrote the RoboCop movie was originally going to write Judge Dredd, and there's an old one of the there you go.
Right there's the man cat that they went off of that statue looking thing, J-Man. That was what they were originally going for RoboCop.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's even the Your Move Creep line in RoboCop. Yep. So the thing, there's a screenplay there was a movie called River's Edge. It's an old Keanu Reeves movie, probably one of his first, and that director was going to do a Judge Dredd movie. And I've got a draft of that screenplay somewhere, and it's literally like they just transcribed 3 or 4 of the classic stories from the comic and came up with this weak tie together storyline that's supposed to bring all 3 of them into one coherent plot. The tie around story is terrible, but the it's so faithful. It's like they just sat there and said, okay, panel 1, Judge Dredd walks into a room. Judge Dredd walks in the room. Panel 2, Judge Dredd kicks in door. Judge Dredd kicks in door. It's that faithful to the source material as far as like the individual little stories go.
Right.
So weirdly enough, I think the movies that we got, the Stallone one and the Carl Urban one, even though they're not based on one particular story. I mean, the Stallone movie's kind of based on one of the stories from the comic, but the movie one, the Carl Urban one's completely different.
Yeah.
And I think those ended up being, for all their faults and flaws, they ended up being better movies than what they would have done if they had stuck with the original, that faithful to the source material.
Right.
But anyway, going back to it, it's like somewhere along the lines, the RoboCop guy was going to do Dread, and then for whatever reason he got off the I think the problem was he was too faithful to the source material, and so he ended up just doing RoboCop. So there's, and that's what, and it's the same writer as Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
And if you look at that from a sideways angle, it's almost like Rogue Trooper. So
it very much is. It's one of those things we talked about it on one of our podcast episodes of, man, if Verhoeven had gotten his hands on directing Judge Dredd, he probably would have.
God.
Oh, exactly. That's all we kept doing was, oh my God, what if? You know,
yeah, he totally would have got. Actually, a guy I know worked with this little indie studio, and apparently they came really close to having Van Damme play Rogue Trooper.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Well, this was like peak Van Damme too. Like this is like mid '90s when he was like really handsome.
Hard Target and all the other like.
I think even pre-Hard Target. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Like I
love Van Damme, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we love Van Damme. We love him. It's like we talk. He shares our streams. He'll share our buddy's stream. He'll share it out and stuff.
Yeah, his hero's journey was that, you know, he made those good movies, and I think the last good one he did was The Quest, and then cocaine kicked in, and he started doing the Dennis Rodman stuff and The Order, and then like he kind of redeemed himself and made some just good drama movie. He like learned how to act and made some good drama movies and just made some solid movies and kind of crawled out of that hole a little bit. Yeah. But now that whole direct-to-video market's the budgets are so cheap, and they're so unwatchable.
I don't even think about it, pal. I don't even think about it. Sit down.
Love Van Damme.
Yeah.
That's such good. But no, I could have seen him as Rogue Trooper. And that was kind of the cool thing, was when I started like actually digging into my progs, realizing, because as a kid, I had no idea there was more stories than Judge Dredd. So it was like now reading that there were like all these other stories put into this magazine for 2000 AD, and just being like, whoa, holy shit, there's a lot more layers to kind of dig down into.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Well, and it's one of those things, like, it's even when I don't realize something might be 2000 AD, but I'm drawn to it. J-Man knows this. The movie Hardware, I fucking love it. Yeah. Movie, and forever, no clue it was a short story from 2000 AD. And I read it
until that lawsuit actually happened. For a long time, people just kind of guessed at it, and then they kind of didn't play it up until it looked like they might actually win that case.
Yeah.
So,
but if you read it though, because I was looking it up, I was reading that thing as I was watching the movie, going, who didn't see this was. If someone told you it's like, read this and then watch this movie, you'll be like, yeah, that's the script right there. They just made it longer. But I had no idea, but I've always been drawn to, you know,
Hardware. Okay. So right there, I'm pointing at, you can't see what I'm pointing at. So that Future Shock, that's a documentary about 2000 AD, and I highly recommend it. I think it's on some of the streaming channels now. I think it's even on YouTube.
I'll find it.
Yeah, find it for me, J-Man. Find it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Blu-ray downstairs, but that is a wonderful guide, wonderful starting point. It tells you who wrote what, who created what, the DNA, the 2000 AD DNA, and everything. It also kind of like would be a good starting point as far as the characters you guys might be drawn to, because it's such a vast buffet of characters and genres. And
Oh, this guy! I just read this. I think in the
Stickleback.
spy
Yeah,
special. That guy with the nose.
yeah, that's Stickleback. That I don't want to give away the spoiler, but that
was
one,
this,
the
right?
artwork in that was awesome. And
I
Strontium
read
Dog.
this one.
Strontium Dog's probably like the second favorite character next to Judge Dredd, because like the two writers that have traded off writing Strontium Dog are like the writers of Judge Dredd. I mean, Judge Dredd's had like a lot of writers, but there's a fellow named John Wagner who's kind of like universally thought of as the creator of Judge Dredd as far as the writing goes.
Right.
A fellow named Pat Mills, who's pretty much the creator of 2000 AD, he stepped in and wrote one of the mega epics called The Cursed Earth.
There's that guy. Oh, Kurt. Yeah. That's awesome.
He wrote The Cursed Earth, and he added a lot to the Dredd lore with this story. That was Pat Mills, but it's pretty much John Wagner, Alan Grant, and then everybody who kind of stepped in over the years. But like they're the tent pole guys, John Wagner and Alan Grant. Right. So they wrote a lot of the Strontium Dog stories. The artist who's credited as being the creator of Judge Dredd artistically, he drew some of the best Strontium Dog stories, and he's kind of thought of as the co-creator of Strontium Dog. So if you like Dredd, you'll probably like Strontium Dog.
Yeah, I've read. That was one of the last things I got in 2003. They had done some special. It was just like a graphic novel, Strontium Dog. It was on sale, so I bought. I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, this guy looks kind of neat.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this guy's awesome too. And Rogue Trooper, hell yes.
So Rogue Trooper has
just
some
now getting into
valleys.
Oh, gee. No, I just read the story. Oh,
weirdly enough, the IDW Rogue Trooper is really, really like most of the Dredd fans who follow the regular progs do not like the IDW take on Dredd. But the IDW Rogue Trooper was like really good, and some of us wish that 2000 AD had adopted that version as like whatever the latest reboot is. Right now, there's a Rogue Trooper movie in the works. It's coming out soon. David Bowie's son directed it.
I saw a little thing about that, but again, I'm at this age now, and like till I see a trailer and I see a date it's coming out, I don't believe shit on the internet.
They're using the Unreal game engine to make it, so it's going to be sort of a CGI looking project. And so we're kind of like, yeah, well, we'll wait and see, because the characters had some pretty sharp, pretty deep valleys it's gone through over the years. And
well, if Haley Atwell's in it, it's automatically gonna. I'm automatically watching it.
Well, it's going to be a CGI Haley Atwell.
Oh, I can't. No, I need. Oh,
yeah. We kind of think we know what character that's going to be, unless they go completely different. Unless the movie's not super faithful to the. Because there's a PlayStation game.
Yes.
There's a Rogue Trooper Redux version that's got all the latest. Yeah, that's got all the latest graphics, and it's pretty good. I mean, some of the cutscenes look pretty close to the way the comic plays out. So, but again, it's kind of like I don't know if I want to sit there and play 6 hours of. The character's frankly not that interesting. The character's got great gimmicks. I mean, he talks to his dead buddies had their memories imprinted on these biochips, and they put the biochips in the helmet, the backpack, and the gun. So he's like got this. It's not really an interior monologue, but he can talk to his helmet, his gun, and his backpack, and they all have different personalities, and it's a great gimmick, and it carried the character along. And then there was an ongoing story about the reason the buddies got killed was that they were betrayed by one of their own generals. And so they call that character the Traitor General. So it became like The Fugitive, where he was like every week he'd be looking for the Traitor General, but then there'd be this side story about, barbed wire that's living barbed wire. And then it's a story about the Norts versus the Southers.
Yeah.
And the Norts are kind of portrayed as a cross between some kind of Eastern European, could be Russians, could be Germans.
Mhm.
The story you're reading now, that's one of the complaints we had, is like they went like full German with the Norts on the story that's running in the Prague. They've never had them speaking a language other than English, and we were just kind of like, knock it off. It's taking us out of the story. Just use those two little, the little greater than, less than symbols.
Yes, translated from
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
From Nordland language. Just do
Right.
that. So anyway, it's I forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, it was a great gimmick. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. Eventually, Rogue Trooper found the Traitor General, and then they came up with this other bullshit plot to keep him going. Like he had to go assassinate all these key people who were responsible for this never-ending war on New Earth, and then they rebooted the story. Dave Gibbons actually wrote the story, but another artist drew it, and they called that character Friday. So there's this whole other Rogue Trooper that they were Heavy Metal reprinted it as a trade, and then there was this whole other Rogue Trooper. Like, is he the same Rogue Trooper? Is he like a new one? And then they put those two Rogue Troopers together in one story, and it became like as bad as like Marvel when they start doing like multiverse stuff. And that's the character in 2000 AD that they've really kind of just butchered over the years, trying to repair the damage of having finished that Traitor General story.
Mhm.
So
he's back to his. Yeah, I was researching it a bit, so I read that story that's in the Prague right now. That just ended, and then I went back and I read the first. I got the case file, phone book volume 1, and read the first. I guess first chapter of whatever the first thing was, and it's just to understand what the hell's going on, because he was talking. I was like, is the helmet like a different thing? I didn't know what the hell was going on, so I read, and now I understand. Yeah, the chips, each, it's the gun, the helmet, the backpack, and I was like, okay. And then I understood. Yeah, the north and the south, or north and south, or whatever it is. I was like, okay, so I understood what was going on there. Then I finished that story and I read a bit more, and I saw that they had changed the character and they changed it back. I was like, look, it's comics. You're used to it. It's like Superman's going to be electric blue. Okay, that'll last for a year. Then he'll get merged, but then he'll be red and blue. Then he'll get merged back. Superman's my guy. Then he gets merged back. He'll have long hair. Then he'll go back to normal, right?
Well, here's the thing, because maybe because they're British and they've always had this like elevated sense of themselves. In as far as they're going like, okay, well, we're not going to do the Marvel DC thing. If a character dies, the character stays dead.
Yes, right.
And they quickly realized that they were just running dread villains to the meat grinder and killing them all. And so they'd come up with, for villains, they would find some way to bring some of those characters back.
Right.
And
hey, Mark, how's it going? Thanks for dropping in, buddy. I know you're going live soon for at Week's End.
Oh, Legion of Comics! Wow, you have a pretty good audience, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, Legion and I, we usually fight on stuff, but we've been seeing eye to eye lately, so it's weird now.
All right. Well, I'm on Team J-Man today.
Oh, nice. I need guys. I don't know if you are, though. You haven't heard all of my opinion.
I haven't disagreed with anything yet, other than when I listen to your 2000 AD review where like everything's great, but I'm like, he'll find out in time.
You know the thing, it's funny too. I love that I'm like the shill on this thing, because
in the fullness of time, you too will be jaded and
new X-Men books. So I'm an X-Men guy. New X-Men books. I am a good sport. Yes, thank you.
Oh.
I also because I my entire life has been liking this stuff. Like, I loved I had a physical subscription to Heavy Metal magazine for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
I love all these movies. I love the Deathstalker movies. I loved all this stuff growing up as a kid. There wasn't too many people that were kind of in that camp, and people thought it was stupid. So it doesn't bother me. Like when I hate something or I love something and other people hate it, it literally doesn't bother me like not even the slightest. And in some cases, the more that people hate the thing, I'll like it a bit more.
Yeah, you have to triple down. You have to get
That's
behind
it.
it
It's
even
like,
harder.
yeah, you're the Hunter from the Future is the greatest film ever made. It's not that good. No, you're wrong. It's the greatest film ever made.
No, Star Crash is, buddy.
Well, I don't think Charlie likes Star Crash. I'm gonna have to out him on this one.
I don't think that. Yeah, that's the Hasselhoff one, right? That's the one.
Yeah.
I didn't really care about that one.
You know what, Steven? You got to go back. I wish we had you on. You got to go. We did a tournament of we did sci-fi tournament. So and then we did a barbarian, like a fantasy tournament.
Mhm.
So, but it wasn't like no Conan. Conan wasn't allowed, obviously, because Conan.
You couldn't put stuff too good in it because we had
That's low hanging fruit.
It's too good.
We had a snafu with too good of a movie in one of the tournaments. So
Yeah. But you should see, like, so we did your barbarians, which we love. So we tried to pick a Deathstalker one. It had to be a part one of a series. If it was going to be a series, it had to be part one. Beastmaster was too good.
too good.
Beastmaster's too good.
A-Tor. So
We did A-Tor.
We did A-Tor on it.
We did Conquest, which I absolutely love. And
Did you do Barbarian Queen?
No, so we did the male. We're doing the male version. We haven't done the female version yet. So we did the male leads. The female leads will be Barbarian Queen, Red Sonja. I've got the list somewhere.
Like that. Yeah.
All of those. So, but we did that, and did who won? Barbarians won, I believe. I think it was Yor and Barbarians in the end.
Yep.
Yeah, based on that list, I would go with Barbarians too.
Yeah, Barbarians is too good.
Well, there's no Barbarians too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did the same thing with like a space one. We did, that Star Crash. We did Space Raiders. Was that the one that we really liked?
Was that the red one?
Already?
So we did.
Okay, what was yours, Charlie? Let's hear it.
Of what?
The space one.
The space one. I'm trying to remember what the name of that one was. It's the first time I'd ever seen it. It had the kid that they were
Space Raiders. That's the one.
Space
That is
Raiders.
it.
Yeah. Space Raiders. My God.
Well, you picked Space Raiders over Star Crash?
No.
Well, yeah, I think over Star Crash. Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. I still have the notes from when we did that. I delete
Star
nothing.
Crash.
Okay,
I didn't like Star Crash at all.
Okay, so this isn't just opinion. This is fact. The only way, the only other space movie that could go toe to toe with Star Crash is maybe Battle Beyond the Stars.
We love it. Yeah.
Like that, I would allow to be in a tie. And if I remember correctly, the footage from Battle Beyond the Stars was pretty much all the space footage from Space Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was Battle Beyond the Stars footage was used in many.
Oh yeah,
many of them.
I think we found more as we were doing the thing.
And then we found more. We discovered more. We're like, wait a minute.
We messed up and we put Enemy Mine in the tournament and realized it is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And we also put Outland with Sean Connery, realizing, holy shit, this movie's really fucking good. So
see, Voom, the one with Carolyn Monroe. Carolyn Monroe. Carolyn Monroe card trumps everything. That is you play the Carolyn Monroe card. Best Bond movie because she was in The Spy Who Loved Me. Best Edgar Rice Burroughs movie, At the Earth's Core, because Carolyn Monroe plays Dia the Beautiful.
I don't know, I just like Space Raiders better.
Okay, full disclosure. So one of the other projects I do is I edit Jungle Comics for Antarctic Press.
Yes.
And Vavoom did a graphic novel called Tantalizing Tales. It collects it's a bunch of Jungle Girl stories with a character he created called Alina. So I asked him if I could use one of his Alina stories for Jungle Comics. So we have a connection, and also we're huge fans of an indie American comic called FemForce.
Oh, yes.
We're FemForce bros. And the publisher of FemForce, they're big Carolyn Monroe fans too. So everything comes back to 2000 AD and Carolyn Monroe.
I'm going to show you. Hold on. I'm going to show this to you because this is really neat. I think we got, all right. So did we see who won? Okay. You have the
bracket.
I have the brackets, guys. Hold on. And what was the last one? Was this the last one? Okay, so let's see here. I can actually add these to the screen. Hold on, let me remove this.
By the way, how long do you go on? Because I can do this all night.
Till 9:30, so about an hour. What is it? 8 o'clock. So I can do another like 90 minutes. So
Hell yeah!
We're just going
now
forever.
because I'm old, I might have to go to the bathroom, but I'll give you a heads up.
That's fine. We won't make fun of you till you leave, and then
That's
we'll,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're fair like that. It's fair.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's the space opera one. So it was Space Mutiny. Oh, dude. Okay, so I'm a nerd and I'm good on like Photoshop and Excel and stuff. So it's like all I do all day is do this crap. Okay.
Excellent.
So it was Space Mutiny. That's Battle Beyond the Stars, Space Raiders, Ice Pirates, Yor, Krull, Star Crash, Galaxina, Galaxy of Terror, Forbidden World, Saturn. That's Saturn 3, right? Or what was that called?
Saturn
3. Outland, Metal Storm, Space Hunter, Arena, and that was the one we had to remove Enemy Mine. That was the one we removed. So you could see in red, I wrote too good.
It was so good we had to let someone bring back one that lost. That's what the People's Choice is.
It was based on a real novel too. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and it had great actors too. It was just not fair. There was just too many of us that hadn't seen it recently, and we start watching it.
You put Outland. You still allowed Outland, even though that's a Sean Connery movie. Huh?
I know. So Outland beat. Okay, you could see Forbidden World and Yor. So Yor beat it. Outland beat Battle Beyond the Stars, which is just crazy, really. But I don't know. They were both
story. It was the story, man. That story in Outland was so fucking good.
Oh,
but
God.
Yor beat
funny because
Outland.
like one is okay. So Outland is High Noon, and Battle Beyond the Stars is Seven Samurai.
Samurai.
Seven. So you got two space westerns against each other. All right.
And you could see, so Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone 1, and I just love that movie too. But I love all
Okay, so you should have put Space Hunter up against here I am like hijacking your
No, I love it.
You should have put okay, so here's the thing. I used to host a bad movie night with my friends, and like it was not uncommon for us to have like 20 people packed in my garage with watching piece of shit movies I'd pick. So and we'd go through like 3 a night.
Nice.
Once a week. So I figured somewhere along the line we'd seen like 300 movies together. But all of these, the only one to this day, the only one I've not seen is Galaxina and Arena. Every other one
is great though.
Every other one I saw in the theater when it came out, and the 3D ones actually saw in 3D in the theater.
I would have loved that.
The week they were released. So Metal Storm, Space Hunter. My mom loved. My mom would take us to a lot of these movies, and so the weekend Return of the Jedi came out. She took us out of school so we could see the first day of Return of the Jedi.
Me too. Got out of school for that one.
Could not hear I had read the Marvel Comics adaptation. For whatever reason, it was accidentally released a few days before. So I had read it. And so I knew what was happening. So at the very end, when Palpatine's like zapping Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader's looking back and forth and shit, the audience was just screaming so loud you couldn't hear the dialogue. And I was like, well, I didn't know what they're saying because I have read the comic book. Right. So we got out of it. We were high as a kite. And my mom's like, well, what other movies shall we go see? So we went across town to go see Space Hunter in 3D. Man, I love after you've seen Return of the Jedi for the first time on opening day, Space Hunter just didn't hold up what you'd wanted.
And so the way we did it is I use my so you've seen some of my videos. I use my space system. So we did a space versus, which is we took like for example. We did, Yor versus Forbidden World. Which one has the better story? Which one has better pacing? Which one has better artistry? Which one has better characters? And which one do you just enjoy better regardless of how you ranked the other categories? So story, it's obvious. Pacing's obvious. Artistry, the effects, the look, whatever, the costumes, characters, that's obvious. The enjoyment factor I put in there in my space system because there's something intangible. You might be like, this story isn't very good, but I love this movie, so I'm just going to give it extra couple points because I love it, and that's how I get my out of 10 score. So we did it for this, And that's why something like Outland, the story was really good. And like Sean Connery was so awesome in it that it actually it actually looked really good too. Like it looked like
Outland was like, it is too good of a real movie. I mean, I would have taken it out just like Enemy Mine. Like I would put Enemy Mine against Outland and just do it as a separate thing.
I think I randomized it. I think I rolled dice and I just assigned number and I just rolled dice and it's like you got what you got.
And Va 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 Voom, yes, Galaxy of Terror is the one with the maggot and Marin Moran.
Yeah.
And it's Enemy Mine is amazing, but it was really uncomfortable watching Galaxy of Terror with my mom sitting next to me.
Yeah, that would be an odd one to watch.
Yeah, that's a great. Hey, Mohammed, thanks for coming on. Enemy Mine is super fire right now. They're that's a great movie. I'll show you the fantasy one. So here's the fantasy one.
We did it shorter. We didn't do as many movies this time.
Yeah. So what we did was, we did a qualifying. Hold on. Do I have the qualifiers? I think I have the qualifiers too. We did a qualifier. I think we did a stream where we just said you have to watch the qualify.
Yeah.
So it had to be it had to be a part one.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a series, it had to be part one. You can't because everyone knows like Deathstalker 2 is hilarious. By the way, I did say it, so I'm sorry guys. I do have to, every time if anyone if Deathstalker comes up or it's said, I have to play the story. Where is it?
It's been a while. No one said it for a while.
No one said it for a while. Okay.
I'll have my revenge and Deathstalker 2.
Okay.
Let me compliment you on Sword and the Sorcerer with the Warrior and the Sorceress, because I always get those two movies confused.
That's why we did that.
That was us. The entire one was going.
I always get those confused. Now, Deathstalker, you can just take Deathstalker 1 and Deathstalker 4, and that's the series.
Yes.
Because everything in the middle is just like, shrug, whatever.
Right.
Hawk the Slayer, everything comes back to 2000 AD because Rebellion ran in their Judge Dredd magazine a comic book sequel to Hawk the Slayer, written by Garth Ennis from Judge Dredd and The Boys fame, and drawn by Henry Flint, who's probably one of the best 2000 AD artists they got going right now. And that's a pretty good mix. Although, and I could see why the Barbarians would obliterate Hercules.
I love Hercules. So let me do a quick bragging point. I own every poster for Hercules and Hercules 2. I have an Ator that I'm watching on eBay for the poster. I've got the poster for Sword and the Sorcerer. I've got the poster for Conquest. And for the Galaxy ones, I have like metal. I've got the Metal Storm poster. I've got the Your poster. All the Your lobby cards, both size lobby cards, the smaller ones and the bigger ones. Metal Storm, I got all the lobby cards for Metal Storm as well. What else? I got the soundtrack for almost everything that we've seen. I have all of the soundtracks.
Oh, I have Battle Beyond the Stars on vinyl, which I bought 2 weeks after the movie came out. Yeah. So, and I used to play when I was playing with my Micronauts. I used to have that playing in the background. That was like the soundtrack score for Micronaut Wars.
Well, we're gonna do the female one eventually. So once we do it, you can definitely come on and do it. I'll tell you the movies that are going to be on there, and if you need them, I can loan them to you because I've been loaning people some movies when they need them.
Can you put me on pause? I'm going to go to the bathroom. I have a reveal for you too.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll bring you in. So that's great. Okay, so Philip is here. How's it going, buddy? Thanks so much, man, for helping me out. I just finished the second last episode of Star Trek Enterprise. Was flawless, beautifully ending, and then they did the finale, and I'm like, why is this finale garbage? And I got to talk about it. I'm going to review that tomorrow, and you're going to see it a month from now because I'm a month ahead of you. Oh, Mark, man, you became a member. Thanks, brother, man. I really appreciate that, dude. I'm going to send you a shirt. I'll get your information on the next. My guy's away for a few weeks, my shirt guy. And then I'm going to let me know which one you want. I'm going to send you a shirt, buddy. I really appreciate that, man. That's awesome. I'll give you I'll give you Liv Morgan, not the real person, just the GIF. and Electra Lopez. There you go. So thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And if you want to ever come on one of these, all right, cool. Yeah, thanks, dude. I know you're doing your show. I know you're doing your show in a bit, guys. Make sure everyone's Legion of Comics is an awesome site. I have every video I post, live stream and video has Mark's link in it. So make sure you guys are on his stream, and he's going live in I think half an hour. It should be about half an hour or so. So there you go. I appreciate that, dude. Philip, you could probably skip the finale. Yes, you probably could and probably should. I probably won't watch that finale again. But the second last episode was beautiful, and I just started Blake's 7 third time through, buddy. Can't wait to friggin' start reviewing Blake's 7. The one off my back. You want a Feral Lad? You could have Feral Lad if you want. He's dead, though. This is the only character, Charlie. This is Feral Lad. I know you're not a Legion of Superheroes guy.
Right.
This character, so Jim Shooter, who was editor-in-chief of Marvel for a while, he started writing Legion when he was like 14. And he was sending stories to DC Comics and they were publishing them. And he's a kid. And he created all these characters. He created this character. It would have been the first black superhero. DC was like, we're not sure. This is a 14-year-old kid. This is the future. You think a kid's like, oh, I'll make him black. And they're like, I don't know. And they didn't do it. And then obviously they didn't do it. And then what's his fate? Like Marvel came in, but then he killed the character. He's like, I'm just going to kill the character. But the way the character died was awesome. So that's why I had to have the.
That's awesome.
That is all. That's just a random trivia. It would have been the first or one of the first. It definitely in a mainstream. It would have been the first for DC, I think.
Right.
All right, Steven is back. Thumbs up. Can I bring you back in? I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, he doesn't have it.
Should be able to hear you unless he ain't got his.
Oh, there he's putting him in now.
There you go.
Good. Can I bring you? You good? You good? All right. So yeah,
Climbing around with the technology.
Yeah, no
Boomer away. Hi. Okay, so what have you got on tap for your female?
Okay, so the female ones, I started making notes here. Hold on, fantasy notes here. Fantasy notes.
Man, we kind of dropped the ball on that one. That was at the beginning of the year. We were supposed to do that, wasn't it?
I know.
It's almost like you were waiting for me.
See?
It almost like we was. Okay, so we've got Sorceress, Hundra, Throne of Fire, which has Sabrina Siani, who she's from Conquest.
I have to see that one. Okay.
Barbarian Queen, Lady Hawk, Amazons, Red Sonja, because I don't think that's good enough to be excluded. Even though I love Red Sonja, I have it on 4K, got the soundtrack. I've got a shirt.
So yeah,
it's not Conan and Stormquest. Those are the ones that we're gonna. Oh no, we haven't decided. I'm sorry, we haven't decided.
I think that's our list to do our break it down from there, because you don't have she on there. That was Sean's idea. Okay, so I haven't gotten everyone's ideas yet. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to throw. There's one called She Devils of the Wasteland, is that too post-apocalyptic?
It's post-apocalyptic, so it's not. But I have that. I actually have that. I have that on DVD. Okay, but no, that one doesn't count.
All right.
I've got Dragon Slayer, Sheena, Sean threw Sheena in there.
Okay.
Hey, Jay, thank you so much for coming in, buddy. If you want to get more into old British comics, get into them. I've been shilling for them recently. But if you think of anything, Steven, immediately send me and I'll update this list.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to go downstairs and look at the library.
And if this is a good time for you this Sunday evening, we can do these. Give me a couple, Charlie, if that works, we can do these.
It's usually good for me. I don't usually have anything on Sundays. So
okay.
If you want to do the tournament.
If you want to be part of this tournament, I'll explain the way it works when we're doing it. So it'll be.
You do the tournament all in one night, or is it like slow process?
We break it down by two, and then we get towards the finale, and we've started clumping them so we're not talking about the same movies over and over again.
Okay. Yeah, at the very least, I'll try to make a clump.
It's like four. So it'll be one stream, which will be like that has, let's say it's Sorceress versus Hundra, Throne of Fire versus Barbarian Queen. That's one stream, and then one stream's the next two, and then there's going to be one stream where we talk about the final four,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then we pick the final 2 of the final 4, and then it'll be one stream for the final.
Okay. Now,
Because usually,
are those
I
Misty
think,
Monday movies just too crappy to even talk about?
oh, dude, I met Misty Monday, baby. I got her autograph on. This my wife thinks that you're fake because I was telling her I met this guy Steven, and I said, oh, he also likes luchador stuff, and I was like, I got my blue demon mask up. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh
I got my
yeah.
blue demon mask up there.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, he likes this and this, and she's like, that's a fake person. And I was like, there's got to be something. And then I was thinking, I'm like, there's got to be something that we both don't, that I like that you don't like. Do you like slasher movies? Because that's usually where I lose people.
Well, it depends because like yes, but I don't actively pursue them.
Okay.
And like same thing with like the mainstream superhero stuff. It's like yes, I like some, but I haven't really read a book in one of those in a long time.
Okay. So there's
Because
that.
I'm usually doing the more bullshit things. But okay, so for the luchador thing, quick story.
Mhm.
So how I came to the luchador stuff is, like I said, I'm half Mexican on my mom's side, but I was raised in Temple City, which is now mostly Asian. But back when I was a kid, it was like super white. A lot of people of Germanic descent
Okay.
settled around there. So, so I, my grandparents said and did things that I didn't know why they did it. So, and then we'd go to great grandma's house and she'd be watching Spanish language TV all day. And so I just would sit there and make up whatever was going, make shit up.
Mhm.
So, I've said I've done work for a little indie comic company called Antarctic Press. And, Ben Dunn is the founder, and he did a book called Ninja High School, which was one of the first manga-inspired books in the United States. And it was also kind of like his dumping ground for every idea and everything he's ever been a fan of, including Japanese live-action superhero shows, including stuff. Yeah, there we go. Including stuff like uh, the live action shows that eventually became the Power Rangers, the Super Sentai shows. So he did
own all the Power Rangers right there, just off screen. Own every single season of Power Rangers. I haven't seen all of Super Sentai. I've seen some of it, but
yeah. Well, I mean, it was really hard to get a VHS tape, except I lived close enough to Little Tokyo downtown that I couldn't go every week, but every so often I could go down there and rent these. You could rent a VHS tape that somebody in Japan taped like 4 episodes of Super Sentai shows, and I would dupe them and I would send them to him, and I'd dupe them and keep a copy for myself. So he created these characters called Zetraman that were like a parody of Sun Vulcan, and then I added 2 girls and I made it more of a parody of Bioman or Changeman because that was kind of like my gateway into it. And so after one issue, after Ben did his own origin story for those characters, and I wrote an issue of Ninja High School with those characters. He wanted to do a mini series, but he couldn't draw it himself. So there was a guy from Mexico City named Carlos Tron, and he came up here to live for a while as long as he could afford, kind of in the LA area. And we met up. He said, okay, he's going to draw the Zetraman series. Let's see, where are they? Well, that one, the orange one just above that's me. That's Bikini Sentai G Ranger. That's the new girl.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. So that's the new one. Ben actually drew that. That's a cross between Power Rangers and Baywatch.
Oh my God, it's a masterpiece.
Yes,
that's a masterpiece idea.
I'll send you a bundle. You know what? Just as promotion, especially for Bubba Voom and Legion of Comics, send me a DM through Facebook or something, and I'll send you a WeTransfer bundle of a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. Just to just throw me a shout out if you like any of it. But anyway, so Bikini Sentai G Ranger, that's the new one that just came out. You can get the trade paperback. I think I have one
there. I'll make it full screen.
So anyway, the Carlos Tron story is getting to be long. Anyway, he was from Mexico City. He went back to Mexico. He said I could come visit him. I did, and he took me to see my first Lucha Libre match in Mexico City. at the Arena Mexico, and it was insane. I mean, guys came out in the audience and they lifted up the whole front row. All the seats were connected, threw it at some other guy. It was like the Blues Brothers, because like the upper levels had chicken wire to prevent people from throwing beer bottles and lemons into the ring. It was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. So, and I asked him like, well, what kind of superheroes do they have in Mexico? And he's like, the wrestlers. And so I couldn't wrap my mind around it, because I was picturing like Roddy Piper or Sergeant Slaughter. And I was so we got into it. I got into the luchador thing. I got into the luchador thing hard. And then by the mid 90s, I contacted the Aguirre Sanchez family and asked him if we could dub one of their movies called Campeones Justicieros, or Champions of Justice.
Holy shit, I have it. It's in the next room. I got that one.
Well, that's not me. That's the one with the Lucha Libre font that looks like Nacho Libre, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't me. We lost the rights by the time that thing came out. But we were going to dub it into English, and it was going to be like, "What's up, Tiger Lily?" Fun. We were going to try to make it funny,
right?
And the low budget guys that we were going to do it as a VHS tape, and the low budget guys just couldn't get their act together. We found it originally came out on VHS tape and for the Mexican market out here, for the Spanish speaking market. And we found the master tape. We contacted that company, and they had it like in the desert. It was had been in the desert for a long time.
Okay.
But it was like okay-ish. But unfortunately, like it was right on the cusp of when DVDs became a thing. So yes, I'm getting to that. So anyway, that whole thing fell through. But we took it to the American film market. We had a poster done up for it. There's clips on YouTube I edited together like a sizzle reel and everything else. So it came close, but just couldn't touch the stars on that one. But Chesty Sanchez, I did do. We got that out. So there was a series of movies you probably are familiar with, J-Man, called Los Luchadores.
Yeah. So that's the whole bunch of the guys. That's like I can't pronounce it. Is that with Thousand Masks and all those guys? Like,
Campeones Justicieros, it has Blue Demon, Mil Mascaras, Sombra Vengadora, the Avenging Shadow, Medico Asesino, which is like the killer doctor, which tells you the state of medicine in Mexico at the time.
Yeah.
And who is the fifth guy?
I can go get the DVDs. Or this is my the DVD. There's multiple rooms with DVDs in them. I've got like 4,000 DVDs and Blu-rays. So like those are like in the next next room.
I can't remember. Anyway, Apex. Yeah, so we got a surf band. A surf band gave us the rights to use their music for the movie, and then I found a guy who was experimenting with like electronic scores, and I said, okay, can you just do me themes? Can you do theme music for the Evil Midgets? And he goes like, what, do you want some kind of like evil doll circus music for that? And I'm like, yes. So he did that. I want something heroic for each of the wrestlers. He did that. And so I have the assets, I have the pieces to it, but like I said, we just couldn't get it off the ground. So instead, Carlos Tron took me around Mexico when I went to visit him, and gave me like the tour you wouldn't get as a regular tourist. You know, it's like the behind the scenes of Mexico City. Right. And I was watching an insane amount of Spanish language TV at the time, Univision, and I had no clue what they were saying because my Spanish is like high school. Right. It's just like that Cheech and Chong song where it's like Mexican Americans go to night school and take Spanish where they get a B. That was me. Right. So my Spanish wasn't good, but I learned like 7 or 8 keywords when they said La Muchacha Muy Guapa. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start recording whatever this is going to be. And put all of that into this comic book, Chesty Sanchez. So it's basically, and I was so influenced by 2000 AD at the time. So basically, if 2000 AD had published a Mexican wrestling luchadora comic about a 6'3" woman who was yeah, that's that comic came out in the mid '90s, so they don't have it on their
You don't
website.
have it there. Yeah, okay.
But I will be glad to send you a PDF if you.
This is what I have.
Yeah, that's the one that's got the.
Nacho
Yeah, you
Libre.
got 3 movies on that too, and they were trying to cash in on the Nacho Libre thing.
Yeah, which I love. Got the poster for that
I-
too. Though. I love that movie.
I'm glad that thing came out. I did rip the I did rip it, and that was my source for the little edited version I made on for YouTube.
Right.
So if you look at my Masquerado channel, you can see this. It's like a 7-minute best of that movie. You can get all the high spots in 7 minutes. I have that Lucha Libre magazine too. I wonder if that's off my.
I believe you can put your link in. There's a private chat that you can put your link in, but I should be subscribed to you. But I'm also subscribed to 4 million people. Oh, I found it.
No,
Never mind.
know.
It's okay. I
know
found
the
it.
feeling.
Yeah, I found you. No worries.
Just ignore the notifications because it's so damn many. Anyway, so we did Chessie Sanchez. She's a 6'3" luchadora who was disgraced in the ring and retreated back to her parents' grocery store where she lived peacefully. And then this company called Frijoles del Oro, which means beans of gold, they picked her out and said, "We're going to make you a like Ronald McDonald, like a corporate mascot, and we're going to film you doing good deeds throughout Mexico and use those for commercials, and all the good feelings people get when they see you will be reflected back on the company." And they gave her this black leather mariachi costume, which she didn't want to have to wear. It's kind of like whenever I go to like the Acapulco restaurants, or you go to those chain Mexican restaurants and they dress them up in like peasant costumes, it's kind of.
I have no. I've never seen. No, I don't know.
You get it a lot out here, and it's kind of like, man, those people have to like suck it up. Have you ever seen like those hot dog on a stick? Do you
yeah,
get
I
that
guess
chain?
so.
A buddy of mine, we had a hot dog on a stick out at the mall near here, and a buddy of mine came out from the East Coast from New Jersey, and he walked by and he kept walking back and forth. They wear these like caps, like rainbow caps, and these sleeveless tunics with rainbow colors on them. It's one of the worst corporate fast food uniforms you've ever seen, and you wonder why they make the staff go through the humiliation of wearing those. Right. And my buddy walked back and forth in front of the hot dog on a stick, and I was like, what's the fascination? He goes, "I saw that in a Ramones video and I thought it was fake." He said, "I didn't know it was," he says, "I didn't know it was like this horrible corporate uniform that these poor people have to wear." Because that was like the joke was like, "Oh, I have this shitty day job where I have to wear this outfit,"
Right.
So anyway, that was her shitty day job outfit, was the black leather mariachi outfit that she didn't want to wear, but did because she needed the money. And that's the story. That was the setup for the story. So we did Chessie Sanchez and yes, Vavavoom, Hooters waitresses.
Yeah.
And San Lee, his Spanish is about on par with Jennifer Lopez from South Park. Anyway, so Vavavoom, the reason Vavavoom's interest in this whole thing is he's going to publish a Chessie Sanchez story, hopefully next year or later this year, maybe.
Awesome.
So he wrote it, I edited it. He's got an artist. He's got good artists. Some of them worked on FemForce. The black and white image on the bottom there, there's one with her holding a gun, and then there's her holding a skull. Yeah, that's our buddy Bobby Ragland. He works for FemForce now, and he's worked with Paul Vavavoom. He's really, really good. So he sent me some fan art, and I was like, "Dude, can you do a story?" So someday we'll have him do a story. And the picture of her face, Chessie's face in black and white underneath that's by Mark Heike, who's kind of like the FemForce guy. There's a guy named Bill Black who created FemForce, and Mark Heike is kind of like the guy who's been keeping it going. So I commissioned him to do that for a magazine called Femme Fatales. Which
got tons of
never
issues of that.
you do?
Oh,
You
big
have
time.
you have the Cynthia Rothrock issue?
No, I've got, who my favorite is Melinda Clark from Return of the Living Dead Part 3.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen her, but I've got tons of issues. I don't have the Cynthia one though.
Okay. I think I was mentioned. I think we got a little blurb for another piece of crap movie I was working on.
This is Melinda Clark from. This is an exact.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like,
she was in Xena. I forgot she was in Xena.
Oh, wow. So the funny thing is, like, there's a convention out here called Monster Palooza. Well, I guess it travels around. But there's a convention monster show called Monster Palooza, and then they do Son of Monster Palooza, and they'll have these panels where it'll be like the girls of Evil Dead and the women of Night of the Living Dead 3 or whatever. And it's like, I do like those movies, and I've seen probably almost all of them at least once, many of them in the theater, but I couldn't tell you, like, if I saw them walking down the street, I would not recognize, like, oh, it's the girl from Evil Dead.
Right.
So, have you seen this one, Charlie? Have you seen Return 3?
Oh yeah, I've seen Return 3.
Okay,
once. I got to see it again. Isn't that considered like the favorite one that isn't the first one?
I like the first 3 Return of the Living Dead, which Return of the Living Dead is separate from Night of the Living Dead because there's night, dawn, day, and then you get land and diary and all these other, and then Return is its own complete series on its own, and that's where they're saying in that movie they say that Night of the Living Dead is based on a real event, except it was this trioxin gas that made everyone crazy and whatever. And then this one was that she kept inflicting pain on herself in order to prevent her becoming a full zombie. It's almost like a Romeo and Juliet-ish kind of story because he's trying to keep the girlfriend from turning. But yeah, but I saw this movie 4,000 times, and like I got the soundtrack poster. Like I made my own. There was no shirts of it, so I made my own shirt of it, and I wore it in first day of university. The first day of university I wore Evil Dead 2. No, I wore Return of the Living Dead 3, and then my second day of university I wore Evil Dead 2. And this guy named Max, funny enough, met me, and he's like, "Oh my god!" He goes, "Did you have that Return of the Living Dead 3 shirt yesterday?" I was like, "Yes, I did." so
back in the day, wearing that T-shirt, that's how you found your friends for life.
Yep. Even Sean, our who's my co-host, and all of these guys, like, it's like you connect through what you love. And what was funny too is that people would always talk about, expanding the fandom, or they would say like, oh, making it, I don't want to get into politics, but they say make it diverse, but it is diverse. It's diverse because people from all over connected on this thing. And that was the thing. Like, it's like my friends growing up, there was like, I had a black friend, I had a couple of Filipino friends, I had a Muslim friend, and we didn't connect through our beliefs, which are all different. We connected through friggin' Star Wars is great. How many times did you see Return of the Jedi? I saw it 7 times. I saw it 8. And this is how we connected. The nerd culture is the thing. It's your interest that connected you, not anyone's nationalities, at least not in my neighborhood. We all love Transformers. You're like, holy shit, Optimus Prime died. I can't believe he died. Did you see that? That was crazy. That's how we, and you're like, I can't. And then, one guy didn't see it. We're like, okay. And then and spoilers were nothing. I remember my friend saw an early screening of Rocketeer. He came back and told me the entire movie. And I was like, his name is Paul. I'm so friends with him to this day. He's like, here's what happens. The whole movie. I was like, I can't wait to see the Rocketeer. Same with Dick Tracy. I came back. I was like, everyone dies. Flat Top got killed. Big Boy got. People are like, holy shit! I gotta go see this movie. It's like, wait a minute. You literally just spoiled all of Dick Tracy because everyone dies in Dick Tracy. All those. There's at least 7 guys that get killed.
Dick Tracy's not that big of a loss as far as.
No, it's just funny because nobody cared about that, right? Like, you came back and you're like, you tell the whole. Like I even like spoilers. Like people would come back. I'm trying to think of what's a spoiler. Like when we were younger, that was a spoiler. I can't really think of one because we just told each other everything. Like we just be like, oh, and then this happens, and then this happens. Oh my god, and and it was so open. And we'd go to the store. My buddy got a VCR. Check this out. You'll like this.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 movies I ever rented,
Mm-hmm.
RoboCop and Temple of Doom.
Damn.
And we watched
A hell of a night.
those 2. We're like, Temple of Doom's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I got tons of stuff there, but I love the first 2 Jones. But Temple of Doom was the first one I saw. My mom was not into any. My mom took me to Gremlins. It was some miracle. She took me to Gremlins. I don't know why. Other than that, everything with my grandfather, or I would go with just the guys if we were old enough. So my grandfather took me to Return to Oz, Transformers, like Short Circuit, like E.T. And he didn't speak, his English was not very good. We're Croatian. His English was terrible. And we saw E.T. fell asleep. He watched, I fell asleep at the end, and I woke up and kids were upset. And I said, what happened? And my grandfather said, he goes, oh, E.T. died. He died at the end. I was like, he died? Oh my God. I thought he died until it came out on VHS. And I bought it. And I was like, he didn't die in this movie. He's like, yeah, didn't they kill him? I was like, are you serious right now? It's like, you told me he died. I was like, I don't know. I think he died. And he doesn't know. He's like, yeah, he died in the end. He's dead. But he's not dead. So that's how I saw all this stuff. So when you start to find friends that liked it, like I've got my friend, junior kindergarten, still friends with him, play D&D every month. His name is Jason, same as me, Jason.
Yeah.
In senior kindergarten, we're still friends now. My other friends are from high school. And then the newest friend I have, if we want to talk about like really close, would be Sean. And that's like from 2001. And then Charlie is pretty new, but like, we don't visit each other because we're in different countries, but
Gas mileage.
Different countries, man. I had pen pals. Well, it depended on what I was a fan of. Like the British guys were over in the UK. I don't want to talk about too much to get too distracted, but like I had Devo fan friends in Australia, the UK, all over the place. So I'm gonna share something with you right now, J-Man. This is a Temple of Doom thing.
Oh,
so one of my favorite new things that I've gotten into is Bollywood.
Oh yeah. I was there. My wife is Indian, but I was there seeing in the theater myself, the only white guy. Now, Sean, you haven't met, is a brown guy if you see my other streams, but I didn't know Sean. I went on my own to Bollywood movies.
Did you go see? I saw your review of Kalki. We just saw that last week, and it was like fucking amazing.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's better than all of Disney Star Wars put together. You're like, F all of this.
Oh yeah. I'm so in for Kalki, the cinematic universe. Okay,
yeah.
So the guy who played the Kali Ma guy from Temple of Doom, he had made like a lot of Bollywood movies.
Oh yes, yeah.
So there was this one in particular. It's about a woman. No, it's not. It's about a snake who disguises herself as a woman, and he plays an evil priest that tries to get where she's got her snake treasure hoard hidden.
Okay,
and
it's not the Invisible one where the guy where he plays Mogambo, right? It's not that one.
No. He comes into her house and he's got like this kind of pipe, and so he's like hypnotized. So she comes out and she's got like these glowing snake eyes. Sri Devi's the one who's in it.
Amrish Puri is the guy who's Molaram.
Yeah, so I just sent you a link. It's a musical number where he shows up as the evil priest with his other evil priests, and he's trying to hypnotize her, and she gets like hypnotized. It's a long song and dance number, so she gets hypnotized every time he plays his magic flute, and then she snaps out of it and basically tells him you're my enemy and all this other kinds of stuff. It's for the era of Bollywood's come a long way since then, but at the era it came out, it was considered like the gold standard of musical numbers.
So this is the actor Amrish Puri. I knew him. He plays. Yeah. There's a movie called Mr. Invisible where I think it's Mr. Invisible. He gets Mr. India, and Mr. India gets invisible powers, and he plays Mogambo, who is a villain. Everybody, if you're an Indian, you know Mogambo. This was like the super villain guy ever. He's like the big villain. Good night, Mohammed. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. He's like a super big villain in this, and this is a great movie. But so yeah, we did Kalki. Have you seen RRR?
Of course.
Of course. All right, saw it. That's okay.
The
review hasn't posted yet. I've got to do 7 videos in the next couple of days. And then we're doing this No Escape thing, and I've read. So I'm doing a stream a day almost. So and the thing is, it's like, oh, you're doing a stream a day, yeah, but I've got to read and watch all of these things that I'm streaming about. This is why I like tonight. I don't have to prep anything.
Yeah, right.
Nobody understands the background work we have to do for all these shows and streams and everything we do.
And Charlie, minimum 2 podcasts, plus he's on Owen's stream, plus sometimes he guests on my thing. Yep. And then you guest on, I think you get other guests too.
Yeah. So
it's just like, and the thing is, Owen, our friend from Action Lead, it's like, I've now basically set aside, like, I will do anything. I just need to have advance notice, and then I'll pencil you in.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's like not happening. It's just like, Dave C, this another guy starting a channel. He's like, oh, can you come on? I was like, it's not happening for like 2 weeks, easy, because it's like, and then I need a day where I just watched 14 episodes of Transformers Headmasters, for this Thursday, right?
And you're watching all that Star Trek too. See,
Star Trek again, and
see all that kind of stuff. Luckily, I put a capper on some things, but yeah, I loved RRR. It's funny hearing people who are watching RRR as their first Indian movie.
Yeah.
Because it's not technically it's not Bollywood movie.
Yeah, it's not Bollywood, I know.
but it shares a lot of Bollywood isms. And I'll tell you this, if you want to see the Barbarian movie you wish you had included in your list, watch Babu Lee, man, if you haven't already.
So, okay, yeah, I know. I've got a few South Indian friends. They're all over me. I was like, guys, and I just told them this. You know how I was able to say that rehearsed thing that I just said to you about streams? It's because I just said it at the last time I was at the office when they said, when are you going to watch part 1 of that? Part 2, I was like, there's 2 parts? Okay, I'll get to those. And so I said, what is something that I can just watch right now that I don't have to worry too much about? And they're like, well, RRR is everywhere. I wanted to see that. Sean already watched it a couple of years ago, or whenever it came out, 2 years, 1 year, 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm so behind on these. I did see Pathan in the theater. I have Jawan that I'm ready to watch. That's SRK. I'm missing. There's another SRK that just came out that I missed as well. Those are Bollywood. Kill. Yeah. Our buddy Owen went to go see Kill. I missed that one.
That's another South Indian though. I think.
It's a lot. These South Indian ones are really these Telugu.
They're like the pulpy type of movies, and the Bollywoods are kind of slick and
they're slicker.
For better or for worse, they're slick, a little slicker and but
more production value almost. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean the big ones go way over the top, and the RRR doesn't. But the Telugu ones are more. To use a wrestling analogy, Bollywood's like WWE, and Telugu movies are like ECW.
Right.
Like, can't afford the Titantron, they can't afford the fireworks, but they'll put a guy through a table for your entertainment.
For your entertainment. Did you get a chance to watch this one, Charlie? This RRR?
I have. Honestly, you doing your post the other day reminded me it's one that we've talked about needing to see, and I either forget about it or I don't have time.
Okay,
to watch something new.
If Babu Lee's on Netflix, and that's where I saw it.
It's not on my Netflix, not in Canada.
It might be.
Well, if you can get a VPN or a Sale of the High Seas, because they don't have physical media anymore. I would pay.
You can't order any of these. I'd pay them.
I'd pay like Severin Films or one of those boutique companies or something. Yep. Like the one I just saw. I just, what was it in Victor? No, Insider. Anyway, there's this like boutique company that just put out Land of Time Forgot and The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. I mean, not just put out, but like
Right.
within the last few years. And I just got my copies of them, and they're great. And it's like, why can't somebody like that to pick up some of these Indian movies? I mean, maybe they can't sell them to the entire Indian market, but I'm sure dorks like us will shell out for something, even if it's just the movie.
Yeah. And
anyway,
Charlie, you just got something. You just bought. What did you just get? I just saw you posted something you just got. Rolling was a yes.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of getting that. Yeah,
I got to get that. See, he reminded me that I need to get this too. Now, Vinegar Syndrome is about a 20-minute. There's a Vinegar Syndrome store like about 25 minutes from my. Oh, dude, is right. But you go there and you're going to be poor when you leave.
Yeah.
We spent. Are you ready for this? We spent 2 hours in the store going because they didn't just do Vinegar Syndrome stuff. They also had every other. They had just like Anchor Bay, like the retired Anchor Bay stuff, and you're like,
right, all the boutique stuff.
Yeah.
Next to the bookstore where I work, there used to be a used DVD store, and the guy would play. He had this web radio station where he would play like new wave music, but it wasn't just like Whip It and Rock Lobster. It was like some deep cut stuff on there. So I would go through all of his bins, and it was just catch as catch can, whatever he happened to get used. So I'd go through all the bins just to listen to whatever he was going to be playing on that web station. And I found so many treasures there, and I was so poor. Then he started to figure out what I liked, and he would hold it for me. So he'd go like, "Hey, buddy, I just got Mondo Macabro's Virgins from Hell." And I'd be like, "Okay, $12, just left my wallet." So Babu Lee, it's a part 1 and part 2.
Yep.
It stars Prabhas, who was the star from Kalki.
Yep.
And he's even cooler and handsomer in this movie. There's some wonderful special effects, and there's some terrible special effects. Don't let that bother you. And there's a couple of musical numbers, but they're not the ones that go on for like 10 minutes and the whole village is dancing and everything. It's fine. There's one that takes place. They've got this boat it's like a double-deckered boat that's shaped like a swan.
Cool.
And that takes off and flies. And then there's a musical number on the flying swan boat that goes into space. So I know people don't like the musical numbers, but if you can't enjoy that, then it's probably not for you.
I like them though. I like the musical numbers. Like, I have a lot of them on my phone. I like the songs.
Yeah, if Katrina Kaif is dancing in it,
oh my god, that's
there.
Yeah. so Doom 3.
Doom 3. Yeah, I saw this one in the
theater, baby.
her end credit.
Yes,
song.
That's the best song.
I just sat there going like. So they didn't want this woman as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
How do you look at that and go like, yeah, no, I don't want to go with one. I don't want to use her for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I was watching the whole movie and they played it in the end credits. I was like, damn, it's the end credit song, but it's great. I love it. I love Doom 2, and obviously Amir Khan is like on fire in this movie.
Yeah, and then the mid movie reveal, which I won't spoil.
Yes,
it's so absurd.
It's absurd. I love it.
When you're done laughing at it, you just go like, "Yeah, that's awesome."
It's awesome. Because I feel that these guys are where the 80s and 90s were for us when it was the 80s and 90s. They're there now.
I've heard that's a common thing I've heard. It's like they're like 2 generations or eras behind us cinematically.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true because like in the
movie, you're gonna be like, this guy's the best. Once you go down the rabbit hole, you're done. Because then you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta check this one out. Oh, this guy from this movie's in this. Oh, I gotta check that one out now. And then it's like you're never going back.
I'm the quintessential guy that's just like, it's a fucking musical. I don't want to watch it, but I need to start learning to just watch some of the stuff.
You can navigate through like the action movies, the better action movies, like the really over the top one, Jawan, the Spy Universe stuff. Okay, so here's your guide to the Spy Universe stuff. There's the first one, which I think is called
I just
the Tiger. EK
it's
the tiger.
Tiger's the main. Yeah, it's Tiger.
Okay, so there are 3 tiger movies. So
Yes.
Ek the Tiger is basically just a rom-com with really super basic action at the end.
I didn't see that one.
You could pretty much miss it because it's so different from the rest to come. The second one, Tigers in the High, is kind of like a Rambo movie in a lot of ways. It's sort of a cross between Assault on Precinct 13 and a Rambo movie.
Okay.
And Katrina Kaif has an action scene in there. Again, I don't know how you could watch her action scene in that and go like, yeah, why isn't she Wonder Woman? Why isn't she in an American movie? Because she speaks English as a first language. So, there you go. And then, hello, future wife. So if you watch Tigers in the High as your first one, which is the second of the Tiger movies, then you can watch Baton.
I've already watched
Tiger 3.
Yeah.
And then you can watch War you can kind of watch anytime you want in there because it's kind of like its own. It will be connected, but it's not connected right now.
Right. Hello, Dan. Thanks so much for coming. Oh, Daniel probably love your
Daniel Prime was with us when we watched Kalki. He's
nice.
He's a local friend of mine.
All right, so Richard Grossman obviously is badass. Okay, so the theater next to me plays all of these, but they're all very long, and it's expensive in like when you're converting to the Canadian dollars. Like if I go to IMAX, like I just saw Beetlejuice, it was $27.
It's not worth it.
Right, and that's what I pay. That's what I pay every time, and then it's $20 of popcorn if you get food.
Dang.
So that's the problem. And the thing is, so I did see if it's SRK, I've got a pretty good thing that's probably going to be enjoyable worst case, right? So I saw Patan. I did not see any of the other Tiger stuff, and I knew it wasn't. I knew he was in it, and when he showed up, man, the theater. If you watch these in the theater, guys,
yes,
it's surreal. Like they're like, yeah, like people are like, holy crap, like the whole movie. I don't know if you liked. Have you seen OSO Om Shanti Om? Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw that in the theater. My God. That middle section, like you may as well just like not even bother listening to try to listen to it's the dance number when they're singing the OSO. But every Bollywood
star in the world comes out.
Ever.
Yeah.
But Charlie, to explain this, it would be like Tom Cruise makes a movie, and then in the movie he plays Tom Cruise, or he plays John Smith, who's basically Tom. So they took all of Tom Cruise's movies, remade the posters to put his character's name, but instead of Mission Impossible, it'd be like the Impossible Mission starring.
It was super meta.
You're right. Yeah, it's super meta. It's exact. And then in that he plays the actor, and then he goes to the awards ceremony and performs at the Oscars, but they won't call it the Oscars. They'll call it, the Schmoes or something, whatever it is. And then but it's Tom Cruise playing a Tom Cruise character. And in the award ceremony, he enacts a scene with every co-star he's ever had in other movies. That's what they did in this movie, right? But with Bollywood. Right. I'm getting goosebumps, buddy, right now, just because I knew maybe 30% of them, right? But I was like, oh, that's from this movie.
It's that guy.
It's her. And there's one, which is DDLJ, the longest running Indian movie. It's been running for like 20 years nonstop in theaters. It's literally been at this one theater since its inception, like 1990 or something. It's still in the theater. You could still go. My wife saw it like 7 times.
Damn.
And the girl from that, and it was the Tom Cruise guy is the guy in that. And then she was in that scene in the movie, and she's from that movie, which is the most famous love story that they have. Right. And literally you just saw the back of her hair. And they know how to reveal these characters. She turned,
and then the leaf blower goes, and her hair goes,
whoosh, and the entire theater jumped out of their seats. I was like, "This is the greatest movie experience." You walked out, you're like, "This is my favorite movie." Screw you, Conan. You're out. It's like Star Wars. You're out. Superman. You're trash. This is my favorite movie of all time. And it's like really, it's like, okay, it's not that great. Like it's
experience. It was experience.
Yeah, it's experience.
Yeah.
And that was a decent movie. I like the songs in it. That's a fun movie, but people are so even this, like when Tiger showed up, for his team up in this scene, they lost their friggin' minds in Pathan. They lost their shit. Oh, I think some people maybe didn't know that he was going to be in it. They're like, what the hell? And he had the scarf. Like,
again, it's just the intro because the scarf drops down and they played the theme from the previous movie, from the previous the Tiger theme, and it's like, oh man. Well, they've got another action series called it's the Cop Universe. So they're police officers that, for inexplicable reasons, have superpowers. And I asked somebody who knows a lot about these Indian movies, and they said, like, I said, so why are these guys able to leap from building to building and hit a guy and they fly like a Popeye cartoon or whatever?
Right.
And they said, well, that's because they're powered by righteousness. Dead serious. They said powered by righteousness. I was like,
okay,
yes.
I think I've seen some of this stuff, like little clips, like reels on Instagram and stuff, where they show scenes of movies.
So the one you can see that's got all the cops in it, and I think once you know that, and you know that like when there's going to be a big intro, so Daniel actually does makes props, and he went to India to work on a Bollywood. Well, it's a South Indian movie. But he went to work on one of those, so he got to see up close and personal how that whole thing works. But it's the one Suryavanshi. So all three cops show up at the end. They set up a new cop, so you get to enjoy that character for most of the movie, and then like the other cops make a cameo at the end. And then it's basically Assault on Precinct 13.
Awesome.
Damn.
And then this number I'm sharing in the chat, the old guy, the 8-foot giant from Kalki.
Mm-hmm.
This is him as he's middle-aged man.
Yeah, we know who he is.
Yeah, it's him as a middle-aged man with his son and his son's wife before they became a big family.
Yeah,
before they became Bollywood. Anyway, so Abhishek is he's the main cop in the Doom series. He's the main yes.
I wanted to say something to Charlie. So this is the two guys teaming up. So they just do this massive action scene, the two of them, and they're all sitting there and they're all tired. And it's like, maybe we should stop. And it's meta because they're like, maybe in the movie they're both agents, but he's like, maybe we should stop doing this. And I was like, yeah, we're getting old. And they're like, yeah, but who's going to replace us? And they're like, nobody. It's like, yeah, we're not stopping. You're like, yeah. And like people in the theater were friggin' screaming. They're like,
yeah, and it's true. These guys are like in their mid-50s and they're totally jacked.
They're totally jacked, isn't it? It's like, Singham was awesome. Sean, man, if you want to come on, you got the link, brother. Come on.
Yeah, so Singham was really good. That was almost like a Popeye cartoon in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so Charlie, let me go all the way back to Charlie. First of all, can I, J-Man, can I shill a little more for Charlie?
Yes, go.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. Flash Gordon.
No, Flash Gordon's Flash Gordon's the greatest movie ever made. Okay, so full disclosure about the Star Crash thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I've done some stuff for Antarctic Press, the Bikini Sentai G Ranger, Yor.
Yeah, I got my Yor.
So Ben Dunn, the founder of Antarctic Press and a friend of mine, he said, hey, how would you like to do a comic book sequel to Star Crash? And I said, that's one of my favorite movies. I would love to do that. Do you have the rights or do you know where to get them? And he goes, no, but nobody's doing anything with it, so it should be okay. And I'm like, that's not how it works. And he said, luckily for you, though, well, he kind of exists in the universe of like, once he gets the cease and desist notice, then he'll stop.
Yeah.
But so I said, lucky for you, I know that Luigi Cozzi, the director and creator of Star Crash, retired to own a movie memorabilia shop in Rome with Dario Argento. And let me email the store and see if they can put me in touch. So I do, and it turns out Luigi Cozzi is like the only one who works there for the most part. So he sends me a email back, and I tell him, like, look, we do this comic called Planet Comics. I send him some of the JPEGs of the covers and da 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 da. One way or another, we would love to do the sequel to Star Crash, and he's totally on board. He gives me the contact information for the guy who owns the rights, the original producer's son, Carolyn Monroe's phone number, down the line. I'm like, cool. So we're working on it. I contact the other guy, the producer. It's looking good. It's looking good. And this was right in the middle of the COVID lockdowns. So Luigi's got time on his hand. He writes a screenplay that's supposed to be a Star Crash prequel that we could use for the basis for the story for the comic book.
Right.
And English isn't his first language. So I told him, hey, can I edit this, fix the grammar up, maybe add a few ideas of my own? And he's like, he's a super nice guy, and he's very generous. And he said, yeah, sure. So I formatted it a little more modern format and added a few scenes. And I told him, like, okay, if people associate Star Crash as being like a Star Wars ripoff, although it kind of really isn't, let's move it up a few years and make this more like Guardians of the Galaxy. And so he says, well, you know, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they talk about David Hasselhoff fighting robots in space. He says, there's only one movie where he fights robots in space, and that's my Star Crash. And I'm like, full circle, baby.
Yeah.
The circle is now complete. So as it turns out, the producer, for reasons we still don't understand, said no. And so I told him, look, or we kind of regrouped and said, look, how about if we just change the names of all the characters? We'll take out all the Star Crash things, because the Space Claw was in the original, the sequel script. So it was kind of like we had to take all the things that resembled Star Crash out. And he goes, well, Luigi's attitude was, well, you can't trademark a girl flying around in space with an alien and a robot. So, you know, we'll just call it something new. So we called it Luna Diamond instead of Stella Star. And the new story is called The Midas Star. And it's available as a screenplay on Amazon. And Luigi commissioned some artwork. He did his own sketches, and then he gave them to a professional artist he knew, and that guy fleshed him out a little bit. And so it's $19, which I think is a little pricey, but it's got these nice, it's nice paperback, quality paperback.
Yeah.
So this is like the Star Crash that could be, and we went back and forth. So I told him, like, okay, so we can't use Carolyn Monroe's image because that's another project we're working on. But who would you say should be the inspiration for the new character, for Luna Diamond? And so we went back and forth. I literally sent him some of the Bollywood stars that you just shared. And I said, because they have that exotic look that Carolyn had, and he's like, no. And so there's a Mexican singer from my Lucha Libre days. I said, a Mexican singer named Talia, and he's like, no. But actually, with Talia, she did this song for the World Cup, where she took a soccer ball and cut it in half and put him on her chest, like for a bra. So this character is called Luna Diamond. So we took
so Luna Diamond Star Rider.
We took a moon and cut it in half. Used him for a little bit of support there. And
what was the author's name again? Sorry, what was it?
It's Luigi Cozzi.
Oh, it is Luigi. Okay.
If you look it up on Amazon under Luigi Cozzi and the Midas Star, you should be able to find it.
Okay.
But anyway, Antarctic Press had got a little tepid on it because it doesn't have the Star Crash name and all that. But I keep telling them, Luigi Cozzi is pretty well known in cult movie circles, and his name could carry it. If you put like Luigi Cozzi's The Midas Star,
right, yeah,
his fans will find it. But anyway, I'm trying to get the book support for the book so I could go to Antarctic Press and say like, hey, we sold a few copies of this almost $20 book. I'm sure they'll buy the $5 comic when it comes out. But there's a PDF that comes with the Star Crash DVD and Blu-ray of the original screenplay, and it's got like the production designs and like visual painting, the visual guide paintings of the characters and all that. So we went back to, some of them weren't used in the movie, so we went back to those for this. So like instead of the Space Claw, there had been a Gothic cathedral that floats in space designed for Star Crash that wasn't in the movie. So now that's the villain's base in this book. And then he came up with these space Vikings who fly around in like those Viking dragon boats.
Yeah.
And the little shields fly off the sides and fly around like UFOs. That's in the book. And Marjo Gortner's character, he didn't want to wear makeup. Yeah, that's another. That's a book.
I have
of
this
fanfic.
book. So what is I actually own this, but I never read it. I was just going through. I was going to go get it, but I thought I'd find it here. I actually have this book. This is just like fan fiction.
Me too. It's basically fan fiction stories that Luigi. They asked him to do the intro to it, but he told me that he doesn't consider them Star Crash canon, and they didn't ask for permission from the rights holder. They just released it. It came out. They sold all the copies they were going to sell, and then nobody said anything or complained about it. They never got the cease and desist. So it's not available.
As long as I got my copy, I don't care.
Let's see. There we go.
Oh, that is. Oh, yo, that is awesome.
Sick.
Yeah. So there she is.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So are they not like the rights thing? 'Cause I don't know anything about it. Are they not even like allowed to put like Luigi, creator of Star Crash? Then
we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, that just kind of seems like a no-brainer from the creator of Star Crash. So you get that name recognition, and then boom, I'm down.
Right.
I mean, like I said, I didn't when we were comparing the movies to other movies. It didn't rank very high for me. I'd read that book. I'd buy that book, 100%.
Okay.
You know,
well, it's also not to brag or anything, but my contribution to it was to make it a little more linear and make it a little more it has a little more sense to it than maybe Star Crash does, because I brought my sensibilities to it. But everything was blessed by Luigi. He read everything I added to it. He said it was okay. Like I said, there's a couple of MCU style end credit bits that were added to his script to help tie things up at the end. And like I said, it reads a little more like Guardians of the Galaxy than Star Wars, and in reality, the original Star Crash script was more like Golden Voyage of Sinbad meets Flash Gordon meets everything you ever liked. Oh, so the Marjo Gortner story, I know you can't see it here, but when you buy the book, you can check it out. The original Alien was supposed to have like a bunch, like heavy makeup. Luigi draws a lot of his inspiration from pulp magazines. There's an author named Edmund Hamilton who wrote a book called The Star Kings. So Edmund Hamilton's like one of his favorites, and some of the names of the villains, like Count Zarth Arn from Star Crash, came from an Edmund Hamilton story. And the villain in this book, we had to change it to Baron Shorkan, and that's another character from another pulp novel. That's another name from another public domain,
right?
For legal
reasons, public domain.
Yes. So anyway,
no, I mean, I think
so we went back to the original. He has like an archive of public domain pulp art. So he had this alien in mind when he wanted to do Star Crash, but Marjo Gortner wouldn't wear the makeup because he didn't want his face covered and all that. So we don't have an actor or anything, so we figured, screw it, we'll just use that design for the same aliens.
That's
basically
awesome.
Acton, but we called him Car. This is the robot. He said that the robot L in Star Crash was named L after L for Luigi, and he's like, how can we come up with like a tie-in for for this new robot. And I said, well, we'll just call it K0-Z, and it'll be Coetzee. So he likes corny stuff like that.
That's cool.
Nothing wrong with that. That's awesome.
So anyway, and also last thing. So for the girl, for our new Stella Star Luna Diamond, we went back and forth, and you know the story about like how Mark Hamill said like he was having a hard time nailing the Luke Skywalker character, and then he decided like, well, it's just an idealized version of George Lucas, so I'll just do an impression of George Lucas, and that'll be Luke Skywalker.
Oh my
So I was like, Luigi Coetzee's like really Italian, and he's, he loves the Italian film industry. He's living in Italy, and I was like, why don't I pick an Italian actress? And I was like, my favorite movie of all time that isn't Star Crash or Star Wars is Flash Gordon 1980. And there's an Italian actress in there. And I said, Princess Ornella Muti. And he's like, perfect. And then all of our correspondence was the email. So he sent me the story about how he almost got to work with her when she was very young, before she really broke out. But she was very beautiful and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, I have no problem making Ornella Muti our new Luna Diamond character. So yeah, Daniel got to Sam Jones.
That's awesome.
Everything gets back to Flash Gordon.
Yeah, Flash Gordon. Yes. Oh, that's top 10 movie. Have every version of that.
Now that I've seen Sean, I recognize Sean gave my Jungle Comics a great review.
So it's you, eh?
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the
So
next
thank
issue.
you, Sean. Thank you so much. Also, and so we've got Sean, who gave Jungle Comics a great review. We've got Vava Voonman, who contributed one of the great stories that Sean liked in the chat.
Yeah.
We're like one of those Bollywood movies. Everyone just kind of appears in the middle of it, and we're all cheering.
Yeah. I wanted to show you these. I reached out to Carolyn Monroe through her website, and I got these. This is just printouts because the original ones are like in case. So I just do a scan and print them. So I got this really cool thing where she signed to me.
Nice.
And then I got this one, which actually has her kiss on it. So that's like her. So it's like she actually kissed the thing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then she wrote she gave me a thank you card, which she filled up both sides and the envelope. That I didn't order that. She just did that on her own. These I ordered, and I picked the pictures I wanted, and then so you could pick what you want. And it was so cheap. It ended up costing, I think, like for you guys, it's like $25, let's say.
Man.
That's not, and she's doing it right now on the website. So I was like, oh my God, okay. Yeah, she's awesome. And but I wanted to. This is the girl from Conquest, and many and Ator and all that. Sabrina Saini, who I really like, or Siani, sorry, who I really like. And I can't scroll down too much because of the show Conquest.
Right.
Yeah. So I got to be careful. I'm gonna get limited monetization. They're gonna take away my monetization. But Sean, yeah. So I Sean, I'm glad you're able to come on, because I know that we've been talking about this, and we love the three of us here. I'm glad Charlie was able to come on too, because out of my group of buddies, we're like the three that really are into this kind of stuff that you're into. The four of us really fit with this kind of this genre stuff. Especially with the fantasy sci-fi, the dread and all that too. So it's good. It's glad. So Sean, yeah, I know you were doing the jungle stuff. Is that on your pull, or are you because I could not, so I talked to Steven, or I couldn't, Sean and I don't think Charlie you didn't get this either, right, Charlie? Nobody got this.
I know, which breaks my heart because the sales were not great.
I don't understand, Sean. So Sean had it on his pull. And you got to understand, I'm friends with my comic shop owner guy. I'm all over it. Yeah, I'll make it full screen so people can kind of see. So this is the original comic.
Yes, I think that's where
you translated it, right?
Yes, I think this is where we failed. Hey, thanks, Sean. Yeah. Hey, Sean, I heard you're a Micronauts guy.
Yep.
I'm getting into Micronauts now. I was it's before my time, but I'm getting the omnibuses now. So. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I work in a bookstore, and we have this thing where like if you do something above and beyond, you get these performance points, and you can collect them and cash them in for a gift certificate. So that because the books are like $125,
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'll use my performance points to purchase those. And I don't think I'm going to get the third one because frankly, it's if you want to save $125 yourself, it's not that good. But I was like absolutely going to get the first two. In fact, I think I have letters that I wrote. They're reprinting the letters pages, and I think I've got letters that I wrote when I was a kid that are going to get reprinted in those things.
That's awesome.
So
I'll keep an eye out.
yeah, I was like, I am absolutely going to be getting these. Yeah, that's Deepika. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a movie called Ram Leela that's basically Indian. It's 100% an Indian remake of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's one of the best. Like, if you want to see one that's not a crazy action movie, every song in that movie is a banger, and she's beautiful. The star is handsome. You could watch it with your girlfriend or your wife, and but keep a box of tissues on hand because it ends just like Romeo and Juliet. That's a hell of a movie right there. Anyway, I'm getting the Micronauts books, and so like anytime my boss would ask me to do something that I thought was going to be a little above and beyond, I would text her a picture of the Micronauts Volume 1. So, yep,
You're awesome.
That's coming out next the 16th in America. So,
yeah, extremely well written. It's probably not what people expected back then, but I think it's still Bill Mantlo, right? So like it's gonna be tightly
it is
paced.
Daniel.
Yeah, very well written. All the characters are awesome. Great obviously, it's inspired a lot by Star Wars.
Sure,
but it's so great. Yeah,
and a lot of other.
First picture doesn't look like Star Wars at all, Sean. I don't know what you're talking
no,
about.
but it's like
Look at this.
and all that, right?
It's like Darth Vader's like right there.
Yeah, Darth
It's
Vader's
like
right there.
he said that. That was the picture I was looking at, and I was like, "No, I don't see it, Sean.
I don't see
But
that at all.
Baron Karza was around before Star Wars, so I don't know.
Well, Baron Karza's the Baron Karza toy, the body of the toy was based on an old Japanese anime called Jeeg, Jeeg, and so they remolded it in black and put a different head on it. And I think there was a rival toy company guy who's actually named Karza. Yeah, so that's right there. You can see Jeeg's. It's the Baron Karza body.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes like way back. And the Microman toys from Japan were predated Star Wars by quite a bit too. So, and then Bill Mantlo borrowed from like every sci-fi thing ever. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Star Wars, Edgar Rice Burroughs. There's a lot of escapes that play out like John Carter Adventures.
Yeah.
Land of the Giants, all that stuff. So
Awesome.
Anyway,
Here's something funny. I did for you here. There, see, I searched for your wife, and that's what came up. Isn't that interesting? That's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it! That's because Daniel Prime was. So
Everybody goes and types that in.
I've got a list of future wives, and it's like Katrina Kaif, Deepika, Chitrangada. I can't even pronounce her name. Yeah,
there was what was the one? I think it was the remake of Devdas. That may have been the first one I saw.
It's Ashwarya.
Yeah. This was the first one I saw. I believe this might be the first one I saw in the theater, and I was like, "Wow, this was like crazy." 2002.
I was with
you.
Right?
You were with me on that one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, "Wow!" It's like the visuals were crazy.
That Dola Ray musical number in the middle of it's like one of the greatest.
Dola, yeah.
That number is like I can't even imagine how long it took to make that.
Yeah, this movie. I gotta I own this. I gotta rewatch this because this was the most visually stunning movie I'd ever seen in my life, and it might still be.
Okay, so I've seen Devdas and I've seen Ram Leela, and I'm gonna go on a limb
Oh,
by a margin.
right.
Ram Leela's because it's a little newer. Okay,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the sound they're still like the sound recording is a little rough on some of the musical numbers in Devdas, and they've absolutely nailed it by the time Ram Leela got made.
Okay.
Also, what was the other one that was really good? Oh, the first Bollywood movie that I saw all the way through was called Mohabbateen, and it's an SRK movie, and Aishwarya's got a cameo in it, and Amitabh
Bachchan.
Bachchan,
Yeah, Bachchan. Yeah.
he's in it. It's like so the guy
I
at the video
see.
store. I asked the guy at the video store like, "What's the big movie now?" Blah 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 blah. So he showed me that, and I was like, "Okay, I'll try it out." So I didn't know who any of these people were. I didn't know that this was like
Yeah.
super duper star power, and two of the younger actors went on to become superstars because of this movie.
Yeah. We
So
own
it's
this one. We own almost every SRK movie. I own this one.
okay. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. But like a long time ago,
Yeah, yeah.
like 20 years ago or something. When did this come out? 2000. So like I probably saw it in 2000.
Yeah, that was right on the cusp of when somebody in India bought like a Mac
Yeah.
and got some sound editing software that didn't sound like it was recorded through a tin can,
Mhm.
and the quality of the sound on the sing and the women's voices weren't so shrill. So it still has a touch of that, but by the time they got around to the Doom movies and
Yeah, but
yeah,
Good lord.
yeah,
Jeez.
jeez.
I
Yeah,
had
these-
no idea this is what we were going to get into tonight. I just want to
you've completely Charlie. You have missed out
No.
on many things.
Charlie.
Wow.
fade.
Okay, Charlie, this is for you. All right. Well, let's talk about Charlie for a minute. Charlie, who's better, Van Damme, Seagal, or Dolph?
Oh my God.
Look, Seagal's at the bottom.
Right.
I'm not even going to, but
Where's my-
Seagal prior to Flight to Fury.
you know, you could stop Seagal at Under Siege for me sometimes and just be like, anything before Under Siege is peak
See,
Seagal,
Daniel.
and afterwards it just varies.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, if I have to go star power, it's always going to be Van Damme. But God, I love Dolph Lundgren, man. That's my He-Man. I
Yeah.
grew up watching movies that no other kid watched, but I was watching like Red Scorpion
Yes.
and
so
stuff
yeah.
like that. Like I'd talk to my friends, like they'd be talking about Rambo, and I'm like, yeah, I saw Rambo. But have you seen Red Scorpion with Dolph where he's in Africa and he's Russians? And they're like, I've never heard of this weird movie you're talking about,
Yep.
Charlie. And I'm like, it's amazing. You need to watch it.
You know how you said about when J-Man went to go see the Bollywood movies? So the Punisher movie got made, and they hid it for they didn't release it for a long time, and fans were wondering like, you know, when is it going to come out? And so there was a monthly comic book convention in downtown LA at the Shrine Auditorium. You were talking about diversity and diverse friends and all that. I think it just depends on what part of the country you're in, what you see it in the fandom. Because if you went to that monthly Comic Con, my best friend was this big black guy who sold gray market VHS tapes. He worked with this Mexican guy who kind of looked like Shrek. There were tons of Asians there selling like everything from anime to Asian, POR and just and everything in between, every race, creed, whatever. And like you said, you needed united by the geekdom. So they had this monthly convention at the Shrine Auditorium, and they got a hold of the Punisher movie on 16 millimeter film and showed it. They got the okay from the studio, and they showed it to an audience of dudes wearing like black T-shirts with skulls on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, again, my mom took this because she just wanted to see a free movie. And she said it was like watching the gladiators back in the Christian times, because every time there would be like this brutal killing, all these dudes would be like, yeah. And
Yeah.
he shows up on screen, and the first time he shows up with a gun in his hand, everyone's like, yeah. So my experience seeing that Punisher movie is like better than most of the MCU stuff that came afterwards. I mean,
We love
he,
it.
he
Oh yeah,
is my
we're huge fans of the Punisher. Dolph
Big
Lundgren.
Yeah.
time.
And I'm not I didn't like Red Scorpion the first time I saw it,
Mm-hmm.
but as I grew to love every Dolph Lundgren movie since then, especially the ones he directed himself later
Yes.
on. What's the one he did that's like High Noon? Russian Mechanic.
Yeah. Okay, I haven't seen that one.
It's got different titles in different countries. It's either the Russian Mechanic or the Mechanic. He directed that one himself. The one where he plays a drummer. He goes to Russia and he plays a drummer.
The Mechanic, right there, J-Man. That's what the one he's talking about.
Where is that?
It's
Russian specialist.
Is it a Russian specialist? That's it.
Yeah, or it's
Specialist,
called the Mechanic, I think.
Okay.
that's the different languages in different places.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I have this one.
I like Missionary Man. That was
Missionary
Man was actually good.
He made that too. Yeah, that was him.
What's the bridge?
Men of War?
Well, there's Men of War, and then there's another one.
Yes, Men of War. Yes,
Men of Wars are really good. Type in Dolph Lundgren Bridge.
Bridge.
Oh, is that the one with
Bridge
the guy
of
from
Dragon?
Mortal
Dragon.
Kombat?
Yeah, Bridge of Dragon.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. I haven't seen this.
That's what the Mortal Kombat guy's in that, right? The flawless victory.
Oh yes, yeah.
He was like Hollywood's favorite Asian guy to
He's
play
right
the villain.
there.
Kerry Takawa.
Yeah.
And all that.
He's also in he just put Showdown in Little Tokyo. He was the other
Right.
He was the bad guy in that
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good movie. I haven't watched that one in a while, but I always remember it. That's a great
Everybody talks about The Crow, but Brandon Lee was awesome in that. And it's funny because like I had this girlfriend at the time, and she was actually raised in a cult. And so everything I showed her was like new and amazing and all that, except for the direct-to-video action movies. Like she got so into. I showed her like Giant Robo and some anime stuff, and she got really into the anime and just loved everything out of Japan. But this she never warmed up to. And that scene where Dolph Lundgren like lifts the car up and uses it as a shield, she just laughed hysterically at that. And it's like, well, I don't know how much longer this is going to last.
Don't dare laugh at that.
My wife is good.
That's Men of War that she was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife is good with most of it, and she's Indian, so she knew all the Bollywood movies before me. But I didn't watch it because of her. I already was watching.
Okay.
That was just a coincidence. But so she loved SRK, and she got a picture of him. She got to his car at one point, got a picture of him. That was the black. Which is which Charlie, if you start looking up SRK, to get to where he's like within a certain distance is a miracle. Like
Really? Okay.
yeah, you gotta like. I actually don't think you actually understand, and I can't really explain it. I think there was a Netflix thing where David Letterman went to his house or something. It's like there's people that just stay there all day waiting for him to come out in the morning just to like wave at him or something.
He's like royalty, basically. You know,
Yeah.
he's like Jackie Chan in China.
Yeah, he's like the Pope. He comes out.
Yeah.
The screen.
I kind of get that. Yeah.
This is who I first knew about, though. This is the first guy I knew about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, the robot guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I have many of his movies, but yeah. So she's good with all of that stuff. The only person she can't do is Steven Seagal. If I'm watching a Seagal movie, she mostly just reads manga all day. She'll literally turn around away from, and I've got a 65 inch 4K. She will turn around. Like I just watched 14 episodes of Transformers, no problem. And she'll sing the song, Japanese song in that one. Hey Dave C, what's going on, brother? Make sure everyone subscribe to Dave C, guys. Make sure
You should play Seagal's songs for her off of YouTube.
It's not going to happen. So that's the only. Anyone else? No problem. Van Damme, Lundgren, all those guys. She likes even some of the movies we'll put on. She's like, hey, that was pretty good. Some like if I ask her to watch something, she'll watch. But we watch, the sci-fi, Doctor Who, Blade 7, Star Trek.
Sure.
She likes sci-fi and the Japanese. So anything like anime or manga, whatever, that's all good. And obviously the Bollywood movies. But like she watched Kalki, but she didn't watch RRR. She kind of half watched it a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, so that's so she's okay with most of the stuff. And she won't watch like Terrifier, and that kind of stuff. I watch all the Fulci movies with her there, like and Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci. I watch those movies with her there, and she's okay with those, even though they're kind of there's lots of nudity and weird gore. But she's fine with that. But Terrifier, that's way too much. So I have to watch that on my own.
Yeah.
You'll have. I mean, you're invited to kick me off after I admit this, but like, I just saw Suspiria, the original version, for the first time, probably 6 months or less ago.
Oh.
Yeah. And the reason why it wasn't so much it was because Luigi Cozzi kind of became a friendish type of character for me, but like I didn't realize that Jessica Harper was in it, and I can't even tell you how many times I've seen Shock Treatment.
Oh,
I love Shock Treatment. Yeah,
I was gonna say that's a shot. I don't remember that one. Let me look it up. I don't own it.
It's the sequel to Rocky Horror, but everyone forgets about it. And I'll say this: I don't like the story of it. I just like all the songs. Like I like Kitchen in the Kitchen. I like Denton. I like all the songs are great, but the story, is.
So Arrow Video put out like a deluxe box set of Shock Treatment, like remastered for Blu-ray with a card thing and everything else. Not only did I pay an exorbitant price to have that, it's the one with the orange box. Not only did I pay an exorbitant price for that stupid thing, I bought a cheap all-region Blu-ray player because it's only available in the UK, and so I had. So I had to get like a player to play it on, but it was worth it.
It's awesome.
I've never seen this. I've never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show either.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
That's okay.
I've seen that, J-Man.
Wow. Oh my God. I don't know why I never saw it.
I've seen both of these movies enough time for you and everybody in the chat.
Right. I think I've seen Shock Treatment maybe just on a random, like we rented it because it had familiar stuff on the back. I don't remember it at all, but I've seen Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
That's like a staple that you have to watch. Whether you like it or not, you have to watch it.
It is the cult movie.
Yeah.
I did see The Room 100 times and I own that, but I don't
know if that's a good thing to say other than that. But I've seen The Room.
All right,
this
is going to be really rude, and I'm a bad guest for doing this. Let's get an age check. How old is everybody?
I'm 47.
I'm 44.
Okay.
47, same as J-Man. Yeah.
Okay, so all you guys are 10 years younger than me, except for Charlie's even younger still. So, so I mean, you guys have 10 years to catch up on these movies.
Right, just give me some time, man.
Oh, geez, yeah. Not only did it come out in the 80s.
He's a little closer to me. I think Paul is probably closer to my age. But yeah, I mean, like I saw the first Halloween opening weekend in the theater, and we didn't. I mean, imagine seeing that movie where you didn't know anything, like the jump cuts, the music. The first time you heard that music ever in your life in that movie, and you're just like, this is the scariest movie I've ever seen, and it's already scary. It's just the music.
It's been my ringtone since ringtones were available on the first ever small little phones. Someone did a ringtone. It's been my ringtone forever till now. My alarm is, I've got He-Man as an alarm. I've got the Avengers like British show as I've got some of those weirder, but like for ringtone, Halloween, it'll still make you jump sometimes. If someone calls me while I'm in the elevator with like a bunch of people, it's like and they're like, holy shit.
I wouldn't want to be in an elevator with someone playing the Halloween music. Jesus,
that'd be awesome.
Steve Boom, he's a little older than me by like a year or two, but
59.
So, hey, I can't say I may be the baby here, but I saw Ghostbusters in theater, so that's my claim to fame
and
that I can say. Yeah.
I mean, you kind of do have to be there, like for the. Yeah, see, Vavavum's talking about high school. I remember, like we had a shadow cast in high school. Well, actually, before they were the shadow cast, I remember a group of friends who were going to go see it at the local revival house, and I remember the Monday they were talking, or the Friday they were talking about doing it, and then the Monday they came back, and then 20 years after we graduated from high school, I got a DVD called A Regular Frankie Fan. It was a documentary about Rocky Horror fans, and they were in it, still doing the Shadowcast thing.
That's awesome.
And I was like, bro,
Oh,
that's admirable and yet sad.
I'm gonna definitely watch it. I'll definitely watch it just to catch up to everybody. I wanted to.
You're not own it, or?
Yeah, I
It'd
don't
be terrible. Also, if you watch the Blu-ray of it, the you see how cheap the Blu-ray brings out how cheap the sets were, and the body hair and the bad makeup and all the faults.
It makes it more 70s, basically.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking earlier about connecting with people. This book here, Asian Cult Cinema, I still have the book. I remember connecting, like it was so great because I'd go and there's at my day job, there's these two black guys, dreads, super Jamaican accent, like big time, and they're like, I'm not gonna do the accent because then I'll definitely get canceled for that. But they're like, oh, do you like these? It was like, yeah. They're like, oh my god! And then we were like super instant friends. Like, can I borrow this book? The guy read the book the entire shift. He's like, do you mind if I borrow this? I'm like, yeah, you can borrow it.
Oh man!
And then he brought me Buddha's Palm, and I was like, okay, yo, have you seen 12 Gold Medallions? He's like, no, man. I was like, okay, yo, you gotta get. So I burned him a copy of 12 Gold Medallions. Next day, he's like, that was the best. He's like dying over it. Oh, what do you got? Hold on, Charlie. Let me make it full screen. Let me see what that is. I gotta make it
Central Guide to Hong
Kong. Oh, beautiful. Yes.
This is the latest print. They said.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Charlie, if you want a lot of money to leave your pocket, because you'd have to get it secondhand. Did you ever get the Video Hound Guide to? There's like Video Hound Guide to direct-to-video movies, and then there's the Video Hound Guide to martial arts movies. Those are like super essential.
Video Hound to cult movies, but yeah.
Let's take a look.
Well, there's the cult movies. I think is the third one. The direct-to-video one's got like all the Don the Dragon Wilson movies.
So Kung Fu, or what was it called? Martial arts. Martial arts movies. Video.
There's a martial arts one. And then there's a direct-to-video one. Tell you what,
all my stuff is everywhere, man.
Take me off for a second, J-Man. I'll run downstairs and take care of some bathroom stuff.
Yep. All right.
You guys are talking Bollywood. I dug out my like Indian horror movies and stuff, but
I don't have the one he's talking about, but I've got awful movies.
Awful awesome.
A Journey Through the Wild World of So Bad They're Good. Volume 1 action movies. I got that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I mean,
Don, I have no idea where this Bollywood conversation came from. J-Man's like, we're going to talk Judge Dredd. We're going to talk we're going to talk. I'm like, Bollywood, cool.
Blame Steven. So what happened was I posted an Instagram post saying RRR is 10 out of 10 out of 10, right?
I saw that, and he was like, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, we got a lot to talk about. I was like, what are you talking about? Why do we have a lot to talk about based on this post? And he's like, oh, I just got into these.
I was working and I was listening to you guys. I had you on my TV. And you guys kept going on about Bollywood. I was like, well, I have to join.
Yeah, what are you doing? I get on
by
here.
the time I joined, you were talking about something else. Like, oh, okay.
You know how it goes. Sean, you know how this goes. It's like
I know.
I was just in the live studio audience tonight. You know, that was just I'm not in the chat. I'm just sitting here going.
Yeah, there's about 30 minutes. There's like 30 minutes of Charlie just absorbing the Bollywood.
All in, man.
No, I saw all that stuff. I didn't even see the Dread part.
So we talked about all that in the beginning. There was a lot. There was a lot though in the beginning.
Yeah,
we went through a lot at the beginning, and we've dug in a little bit of stuff. Not as much yours I was expecting, but
no. So okay, we're gonna. I think we're gonna do. there's only one issue out, so let's wait.
Yeah.
We're gonna wait, and we're gonna be done in like 5-10 minutes, anyways. We're gonna save it and do like a proper your thing because Steven wanted to wait on it.
No, it's fine with me. I haven't read them yet, so
yeah,
The
I only
art
read
is incredible. I love it.
the art's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm still trying to find an actual like physical copy so I can have it in my hand.
Yeah.
So
I have to get my guy to order it special, so I don't know.
I'm gonna have to find somebody that I got plenty of comic book connections down here. I'll find somebody.
Yeah. So yeah, he wanted to just wait on it. Issue 2's coming out in like 3 weeks or something. Oh, he's coming back now.
We'll give it a review proper then, man.
Yeah, we'll do like a better stream because this is just, I wanted to just have a relaxed stream.
It's a hangout.
Prepare. It's just a hangout. I didn't prepare anything.
Yeah.
I just don't have. He's back on.
I should have watched a couple of Bollywood movies though. So
you should watch. You got to watch RRR. There is some music. There's no singing where they don't actually sing, but there's music with like a montage. So
the music is part of the story, and Natu won at the Oscars for best song, but that whole sequence is very important. Like and the song's good anyway. So,
but hold on a second, just so you guys know this, and I don't know if you know because I don't think you're watching this the way I'm watching it. All of these movies are dubbed in Hindi,
right?
And then they're subtitled, so the audio is not. They're doing it the way that the Italians do it, where everyone is speaking their language.
Yeah.
So Amitabh Bachchan and I'm pretty sure what's her name? Who's the main girl? Deepika. I'm sure they're speaking Hindi. The other guy, Prahaz, I don't know how you say it. He's probably speaking Telugunese. I don't know how you would call it. So they're all speaking, and then they just dub the entire thing in Hindi. So like it's weird because like like Amitabh Bachchan, like some of it matches and some of it doesn't. Like what the hell? That's weird. And my wife's like, well, that ain't Hindi. She's like, that guy, what he's saying there, that doesn't look like he's saying the Hindi words because she can speak Hindi.
Right.
So it's a bit weird. And actually, that Natu was the Hindi version on Netflix, not the Telugu version, which is weird.
The dance with the suspenders.
Yeah, no. Yeah. That's the thing. But I was saying the music is that. Like, I mean, my wife's like, "Hey, that's not the song we heard at the Oscars." Is like, "Oh yeah, that's not the song, but it is the song, but not." But it's just because they've done it. It's not matter to you, Charlie. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
No, it's fine.
So they can triple dip.
Yeah.
So my day job is that I work as a bookseller. So I just can't stop selling books even on my days off. So after you've spent $19 on the Luna Diamond book, you can go on the Amazon and try to find.
Well, look at that.
Video Hound's Dragon, Asian Action and Cult. Look at this phone book.
Hellacious
book. Ryan Thomas. Look at this beast. What do we have? There's chapters: Bruceploitation, Too Many Fists of Fury, Bruce Lee versus Sammo Hung, Battle of the Century, Hail King Ghidorah, Stephen Chow. There's a Godzilla.
I own every Stephen Chow movie, baby.
Name me a movie that you think is probably pretty obscure.
Oh, geez.
Raw Force.
Raw Force? No, this is an actual Asian movie, though?
No, Raw. Is it?
Raw Forces? Hold on.
Yeah. I don't know. How about Raped by an Angel Part 5? I own all Raped by an Angel movies.
Now, keep in mind, this ends kind of around the year 2000.
No. Raped by an Angel is before that, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. They might.
That's one.
They might.
It's not a martial arts movie, though.
Yeah, they didn't put that one in. They got Raiders of the Wu-Tang and Ran.
Oh, right. Yeah, Raw Force. I own that Blu-ray.
Yeah,
they've got all the Razor movies.
So Raw Force should be in there.
Yeah. This is by Kung Fu Club.
I never thought of it that way.
Edward Murphy's Raw Force.
Who is in Raw Force?
It feels like it's Englishy though. It's not really.
Yeah, Chinese. Like Cameron Mitchell's in it. Like it can't be a Hong Kong movie.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be. How about Naked Killer? That should be there.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. So that's this one.
Yeah.
Now we can cross-reference Raw Force with Video Hounds video premieres by Mike Mayo. And
Raw Force will be in there. It'll be in there.
Because I
They
think
got all the Urotsuki Doji movies.
Yeah, that
got
looks like a
Sorcerer.
more like, I don't want to say generic, but more like
Space Mutiny.
Yeah, I love it. We talked about we talked about Space Mutiny on our.
I now love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't at the time, but it's endearing to us now.
It's like, get out of the way, you idiot! And the guy's on fire. Like, it's like
Now, you know what? It jumps from Ravenhawk to Raw Nerve. So, Raw Force, again, it might have come out like after, or maybe it's called something else.
Straight to video book.
Yeah, Video Hounds video premiere. So this isn't just martial arts movies, even though Don the Dragon Wilson.
Okay.
It's like Jailbait, Jack O.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, I think I own that.
And then there's this other great one, Segology.
Oh my God.
Segology.
The study of the ass-kicking films of Steven Seagal.
All right,
that should be a short book.
I gotta buy my co-host that right there. Just
so this one
with Seagal right now.
This one's got a checklist of things that all of his. Well, this goes up to and includes Lawman, and it includes the music, the blues CDs.
Oh dear God.
He's got a checklist for each movie of. Okay, the checklist is directed by, written by, distinguished co-stars, Seagal regulars, firsts. Title refers to. Now, they have a part that they review in every movie called "Just How Badass Is This Guy," which is usually when the general drops a file on the desk and says he can rip out your heart and show it to you before you die. Languages, which is Steven Seagal addressing everybody in their own culture. You know, like if he talks to an Arab, he, says hello to him in Arabic. Improvised weapons. This movie, a vending machine and chopsticks to the throat. Let me see what movie that is. I think this is Into the Sun. Yeah, Into the Sun. He goes to Japan. Fight in a Bar, Broken Glass, Terms of Endearment, Family Shit. That category is like, does he have to rescue his daughter from somebody? Does his wife get in trouble in some foreign country?
Oh my God.
Political themes and cover accuracy. Cover accuracy is like how badly does his photoshopped head match the model of his body? Yeah.
Pretty Woman. That's not Julia Roberts' body on that poster.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
In the later
head.
chapter, it also includes like how bad was the voice actor who had to come in and loop for him because he wouldn't come back and dub his own voice.
Some of them are some of them are so obviously wrong. Oh my God, Dolph Lundgren, yes, that is awesome.
So this is a book called Dolph Lundgren Train Like an Action Hero.
Oh, that is cool.
So you get his workout regimen.
I need that just for the cover. That's all.
I was just gonna say.
This is a British book or something because I've never seen it. It came up on a list of remainders, which are like, books that the publisher's trying to get rid of, or they went through a clearinghouse somewhere. Right. And I don't know where this book was actually published. It is in English, but I never saw this anywhere. Oh man,
awesome,
beautiful.
Yeah, I got the Essential Die Hard.
Oh, yeah, that is awesome.
Wonderful.
Which one does it go up to? Does it include the?
Oh, it goes all the way up to his latest one with his son, where they go.
Oh, wow.
But there's like the very back has like a Nakatomi Corporation file. Like,
my God!
I paid $10 for this on Amazon because of some ridiculous sale, and it's a hardback.
Yeah, it happens.
And I paid $10. I was like, all day I would buy this.
Beautiful glossy book.
This was like $8.
Charlie, the Dolph Lundgren book is on Amazon.com right now for $17.55 at a discount. Right now, so there you go. Amazon.com, that's your money.
You have the better one, Steve, but I did have this, the Awful Awesomes, Movies So Bad They're Good kind of book, and it's really good. It gets into a lot of those like really obscure, like right there's the Impossible Kid. The
Sean, like that's all Sean. He sat up. You could tell his head went off the screen. It was like it's like he sat up for that one.
Oh my god!
We never covered blaxploitation movies today. That's the one topic we didn't cover that I also love.
Yeah, we didn't get into that. Yeah.
Do you want me to go get my coffee statue from the other room?
Oh my god!
The Carolyn Monroe doll is literally on the same shelf as the coffee statue.
Oh wow! I love coffee. I got Pam Grier's autograph too, through the same. That is awesome. There's something called GalaxyCon, and it's virtual convention, so you just like, so it's a convention, but you don't go to it. It's virtual, and then you just send in. So like my wife got like Shatner, like you can get whoever you want, whoever they have at the convention, and they'll personalize the autograph. Most of them do, some of them don't, and they send it to you. I got Pam Grier like that. You don't get to, you're not there meeting her, but it's done virtually. I got a bunch of people, and I'm going to they've got 7 of the 9 Warriors, which would be crazy to have them all. Obviously Ajax is the best, but like Ajax, James Remar is not personalizing, but everyone else is. So I'm going to get Swan. I got to get Swan.
Oh, you mean from
Warriors? Sorry, Warriors. Yeah. So 7 of the 9. They've got 7 of the 9 Warriors. So you could do a thing. They're offering a thing where they'll all sign the one item.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like $700.
You could Star Trek nerd. You could double dip in Star Trek nerd on top of that and say it's 7 of 9.
There you go.
I love 7 of. I'm in a 7 of 9 Appreciation Society Facebook group. I love stuff. I have 7's autograph, of course. Hello.
Yeah.
And I have every 7 of 9 book there is. I think I just pre-ordered the newest book, even though I despise Picard season 3.
Really?
Anyway, I watched 1.5 episodes. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I didn't watch Picard 1 or 2. I didn't watch 1 or 2. I just didn't watch any of it. Don't like any new Star Trek. I'm Enterprise. Last episode of Enterprise, that was the last Star Trek thing there was.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Yeah, I couldn't get into these new ones, JJ and all that.
Well, I mean, Star Wars. We saw the first Star Wars movie like 2 weeks after it came out at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood, and they had just put the footprints and handprints in the concrete, prior to that. So, and I was 10 years old, and it changed my life, and it breaks my heart to say, like, yeah, Disney Star Wars.
Oh, it's so poopy.
We done. Well, I mean, Mandalorian 1 and 2 was fine. It's so hard. I mean, for us here in the room, it's so hard to tell people, like, yeah, Mandalorian was, especially like the hardcore Mandalorian fans, like, yeah, it was good, but have you ever seen Lone Wolf and Cub? And
dude, I know.
Right.
No interest in knowing what the source material might have been.
Right. Okay, so Lone Wolf and Cub. I own the entire thing, the Dark Horse versions that had come out when they were bringing those volumes out. Read the whole thing. I have every episode of all the shows, all the movies, the Baby Cart movies, even the Shogun Assassin re-edited versions. I own all that stuff. I saw it, and the reason why Mandalorian is so good is because it took the Star Wars formula, which is you take a Japanese thing and an American thing and put them together. And everyone was like talking about, and I didn't know it was Lone Wolf and Cub until the last shot. And then I was like, Baby Yoda. I was like, oh, and he's even in the little thing. I was like, oh, it's Lone Wolf and Cub. I'm like, I got this. And then I knew it was going to be good. And obviously all of us here knew it. And my buddy Steven, it's like anybody, like my circle of friends pretty much knew what it was immediately. It was like, oh, it's Lone Wolf and Cub. I get it. And then the second they stray away from that, it's like, now it's not good because it needs to be sci-fi, Western, and Japanese culture, Hidden Fortress, whatever you want to pick together. When you put those together, that is what makes Star Wars awesome. George Lucas knew what he was doing. It's like, I love the Flash Gordon serials and the Buck Rogers and all that. And it's like, he took all of that, he mixed in some American Western kind of stuff, threw in Japanese culture. Like, this is the greatest. He just meshed everything cool together.
Yeah. I mean, the current writers clearly have never read an Edgar Rice Burroughs book in their lives. So,
God, no.
Clearly, Edgar Rice Burroughs is more stolen from individual. So just read any of his.
Disney had the chance to even bring that entire
And they effed that in
and they fucked it up. Even though I like it, I
didn't mind that.
I loved it too.
Okay, so we're all on the same page here. But they also went, and we don't know what to do with it. Throw it away.
So classic. So here's another movie experience story. So there was a group of us all about the same age, just like this group here. We'd meet at the comic book store on New Comic Book Day, and then we'd go to Denny's afterwards and hang out and talk the shit because they were open till midnight. I think they were actually open 24 hours. So they put us in the conference room in the back and let us hang out and shoot the shit all night long. So we oh man, I forgot where I was going with the story.
It's John Carter, Edgar Rice Burroughs, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers. We were talking about Star Wars, Mandalorian.
Woo. It'll come back to me.
All right, yeah. So, like current Star Wars, they haven't read anything. These guys are not. They're not. George Lucas was inspired. Yeah, Edgar Rice Burroughs was. Know, I think the current writers can't write good. They can't write good stories, firstly, but also they don't even know how to copy stuff. The best thing to do is watch a bunch of Akira Kurosawa films or watch some Japanese movies, watch some old westerns or whatever, and just literally steal. Let's take Rio Bravo and whatever.
The frame of reference, the further you get away. Yeah, the further you get away from those decades, the frame of reference is lost. It's like like George Lucas in the 70s had pulp adventure in his brain, westerns and all that stuff. And someone writing today, who's maybe 30 years old, has remakes and sequels of stuff from the past, like Xerox of a Xerox of a Xerox or something. They don't really know what makes up an Edgar Rice Burroughs adventure, or what pulp is, or what the excitement of discovery and dashing, daring, swashbuckling stories is. Like, they don't know what that is. So this is what you get with these new stories.
They would get so triggered by it. Yeah, but they would get so triggered. They couldn't see. There's some problematic things in every Edgar Rice Burroughs story.
Sure.
Right.
But the takeaway is, a heroic story, good versus evil. There might be like an issue with the way some of the natives were handled, but usually it's an evil white hunter. And the way Burroughs described people, he liked to use the expression clean-limbed. So if you were an African Zulu warrior, but you were clean-limbed and your head was shaped well, that was the other thing he was into, was well-shaped head. Then you could be Tarzan's friend and you would be equal. And, if you did heroic things, you were cool. But if you had no neck, he didn't like people with no necks and a square-shaped head. Right. Basically, the Monk Mayfair model from Doc Savage. If you looked like that, you were probably.
I like Monk. Well, he's all right.
He did.
I know. There's nothing exciting, but the thing is, where's the excitement anyways? Like, even if you don't know anything, you're like, okay, why are you excited about? Like, tell me what it is. Like. We're gonna end. I got to end this in a couple of minutes. It's like, tell me what it is. Like, what is the? I watch all of the Acolyte, and and we all are like this. Sean and I, like, we do these reviews all the time, and I don't want to hate something. I don't want to sit there for 8 hours and watch 8 episodes and then be pissed off and then do a review and saying this is trash, and then I've got to hear 4,000 comments. I'm an idiot, or I don't need to go through all of this. Because I want to. I would prefer watching this and be like, wow, this is awesome. This was like so cool. Yeah. I would prefer that, because then I want it to be good. And if you watched a movie and loved it, you won, because you spent 2 hours in front of your TV and you ended up enjoying yourself. You won. You shouldn't be angry that I didn't like it. Like, you're the winner in this. So anyways, but the thing is that you try to explain it, and then they're like, oh, you're just the whatever, you don't get it. Or they throw out the usual talking points. Oh, it's a kid's show, or you don't get. It's like, okay, but like, what is the excitement? You sit down and someone says, you can do a Star Wars show. What do you want to do? And then you start to think, well, what am I going to do? I could do anything. And then you start giving ideas. Like, what was the Acolyte pitch meeting? There's a channel called that Pitch Meeting Guy, and he's pretty funny. And I'm watching this. Is like, yeah, like, is this literally how it goes? Like, you have no idea here. And the acting's bad too, but the story's bad. And what's the excitement? Even you can make fun of You're the Hunter from the Future or Barbarians movies or whatever. It's like, yeah, but it's cool and you can understand what's happening and it's fun. And they try to do as many cool things as they could. They have limited budgets, so they can't do everything, but they did the best they could. Now, go back to yourself when you're 10 years old or whatever, coming out of Star Wars or whatever, and say, hey, listen, buddy, when you're 50 years old, there's going to be like 20 Star Wars things, and there's going to be tons of seasons of Star Wars cartoons, and you're just gonna be like, what, really? Yeah, and they're all garbage except for the one you just watched, right? And maybe some of the prequel stuff is not so bad, I guess. That's what you're gonna come. You're like, really? Even for me as a kid, Sean, I talk about the Marvel. There's gonna be like everyone's gonna know who Thanos is, and everyone's gonna know Black Panther, and everyone's gonna know Namor, and it's not gonna just be a few Namor items on your shelf. Namor's gonna be on the screen. It's like, right, in the worst adaptation of any character from comic to screen ever. It's like, like what happened?
I mean, the power of that MCU thing. When my mom was like in her 70s when she passed away, and I've been like a comic book fan since I was like seriously somewhere between 8, 9, 10 to now. Right. And like during that whole time, she didn't know anything about the comics. But once the MCU hits, she knew that Wolverine's name was Logan. She knew who Thanos was. She knew who Captain Marvel was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She knew there was two characters called Captain Marvel. One was a dude.
Right. I dressed up when I was 16 years old. I dressed up as Wolverine. I said this 100 times. You haven't heard it, so these guys have already heard it and they're bored. But I was 16 years old. I dressed up as Wolverine, and nobody knew who I was. They're like, "Who are you?" Yeah. I was like, "I'm Wolverine from X-Men." They're like, "Never heard of it."
Right.
Wow. Try to comprehend that for a second. Now we've got that Deadpool series. It's $1 billion. That third one. And it's like Deadpool is now the most known character. Like, really? I remember I do have the first Deadpool. When Deadpool came out, I remember Sean and I would talk about this. Like, it's not at the time because we didn't know each other. But we're like, yeah, Deadpool's okay. We thought he was all right. I thought Cable was cooler. I kind of like Domino. And I was like, yeah, Deadpool, he's not too bad. And now it's like everybody in the universe is wearing the shirts, the caps. And I went to a Deadpool a Deadpool thing at my shop. I don't even care about Deadpool, and nobody can answer any trivia question. They're like, "Who created Deadpool? What was the first appearance? What was the?" And I'm like, I answered every question, and my shop owner's like, "Jay, you don't even care about Deadpool that much." I'm like,
"Yeah,
I know."
You posers.
You gave your age up. We already told us your age, but you gave us up with that one. I have to do poser shirt. I have to do posers on a couple of my nieces and nephews. It's like, that's a poser shirt right there. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, you don't know what that's from.
Well, when I do story time, sometimes the parents will. I mean, I get like 3-year-olds come in, and the parents will have like a Ramones T-shirt on the kid, and I'm like, fuck it, name 3 songs.
Right, name anything. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to though because I don't know. I know Iron Maiden. I could do Iron. I'm not, but I don't wear that. I got my Iron Maiden shirts, Metallica up until and including some of the Black Album. Some AC/DC like Black Sabbath. Those guys are good. Sure. I'm in the Kiss
shirt, man. That's
a great shirt. I was in. That is a great shirt.
Their blood's in the fabric.
The blood.
Oh, beautiful.
No, I'm just kidding.
They always do stuff like that. I wasn't a kid. I did register in the Kiss Army, though. I did register for the Kiss Army.
That's where we diverge. I was in Club Devo.
Okay, yeah. See, I know Devo, but I don't know. I wouldn't know the songs. So it's Iron Maiden.
We have enough to bond over for friends for life now.
For sure, guys. I gotta go. I'm already way over. Way over. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Charlie, thanks, Sean and Steven. It was great having you on. You're definitely coming on 100% again.
My pleasure. Don't forget to get the Hunter from the Future.
So let's do a dedicated your thing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and once again, you were saying it's the original source material for the movie, and we're going to do the entire movie which is even more your lore than the 4-hour miniseries.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's great. So yeah, we'll definitely we'll do a more your dedicated thing once like issue 2 is coming out on 25th. I think was the date I saw.
Well, I'm going to be working on number 3 tomorrow. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wait till it's all done, and then we could do like a cool your thing. And if we wanted, and maybe we'll hook up again for that fantasy thing, and just maybe figure out something else to do as well. Sweet. Because definitely had a good time tonight. All right, guys,
it's so great to meet you, Charlie and Sean too.
You too, Steven. This was
great to meet you.
Awesome.
So much Bollywood information now.
Yes, I'm glad.
I can see your eyes glazing over, so thank you for being a trooper.
I can't remember who won Bud Bowl 8 now, but it's okay. It's fine.
We get into the horror movies, but whatever.
Sean brought out his
Hollywood horror movies.
Okay.
Oh man, we will get into it.
You will do it. Sean and I are live tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're talking Legion. That's the Legion live stream every Monday. Join us for that. Jim Starlin issue. It's absolutely out of this world.
It's freaking awesome. Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Thanks to Legion of Comics who signed up as a member. I really appreciate that, buddy. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to my panel. It was great talking to everybody. Great meeting you, Steven. Loved hanging out tonight on this Sunday night. Guys, have a good week. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, friends. You've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.